What's like the limited statute of limitations for throwing limes at Wendy's?
I think that was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Well, getting fired for that?
Yeah, because you're like fucking. You're like, all right, peace. I'm gonna start this business, and now you're running shit.
Was that the event that like?
Yeah, because
I didn't come back after that.
No, and I remember like seeing you like shortly after, and you were like just starting into it, maybe like a year in, and you're like, yo, getting out of there was like the best thing for me.
Oh yeah, me and Mark talked about it like immediately after he fired me. He's like, "What are you doing, bro? You gotta go." he's like, "You're hanging out too much." Like, he's like, "It's time to quit."
I know, I love telling that story because we talk about people who get fired, and I'm like, I got fired, and everybody's like, you got fired, and I was like, yeah,
yeah, dude, everybody got fired back in the day.
And then rehired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
that
was
day.
It was like
that
a thing. It was like, dude, you could do some shit and then like get fired, and then you could be doing shots with Mark at the bar, like fired. Right, you're fired, but you're out the bar. It's like Thursday. It's like, oh, perfect. I got fired on the perfect day. Cougars are coming. Bar's gonna be crazy. And then it's like he'd be drinking with them, and then he'd be hammered, and then he'd be like, all right, you're back. And then it'd be like, all right, and then somebody else. It would literally happen to somebody else like the next day.
I got fired, and then he called me. He was like, who bar backs tonight? I was like, I do. He's like, all right, you're coming to work, and I'm like. So, all right, I just left Isaac's with an application. Like, should I fill this out? And he was like, no, you come in tonight and I'll decide if you have your job. And I was like, all right, cool.
This is when you guys both got fired at the same time?
Yeah, I think we got fired together twice. That was the second time I got fired.
No, that was the only time I ever got in trouble.
That was like the second.
Major.
That was like the second or third time.
I've been a pretty smooth run there for like how long I've been there, dude. Like literally got fired the one time, and then I only got in like one fight with Mark over like all these years.
Yeah, but you're like of all the people to have like gotten fired and everything, you're like, eh. It was just like we were having a good time, and it was my influence, and we were having a good time, and some limes got thrown.
Like we did anything like illegal or like really bad. Like I was like, we were just being fucking stupid, but it was still like the coolest thing.
The lime toss.
Yeah, we were throwing. We could see
this thing was epic.
Yeah, we would take limes, and we would see like who could get the lime the furthest.
It was one of those dog toy launchers. Like it was like it was basically
the
same
plastic spoon things.
Yeah, we were kids, man. That was a great time.
It was like the technology of like a highlight. Seriously, like you would throw this thing, like you would just go like that, and like you would put like a little effort into it, but you would watch it go, and like it would go 100 yards, like no problem.
It wasn't that we were trying to like destroy property or like be destructive in any real sense. It was like one person threw a lime with the thing, and then it was like everybody had to see how far they could throw it, and then it was like, well, now I got to beat my record, and then it's like, and then just like the sheer fascination with like how far the limes could go was just like, and then we were just like,
it was a skills competition.
Yeah, it just,
and who had the biggest balls?
Yeah, it's usually what happened there. So we got, I feel like I got rehired that time, but I might, you probably remember better. Yeah. Good times.
That's hilarious.
Those are the days, the young, reckless days.
Yeah, I remember one time I got like, I was fired, but like Mark needed help. So I was brought back in because it was the holidays. And I was like sitting out on,
always happens.
I was sitting at the back step on the steps. And like, I had just gotten my first like non-flip phone. And
internet.
So we're talking 2002?
Yeah. No,
later.
2000. This is like probably 2006 or 7. And Mark Masso comes out. This is like a Tuesday night. Mind you, I have one table of like 30 people. But that's like all I got to do. But I have like, I got nothing to do at this point in time, like legitimately. All of a sudden, the back door of the restaurant just gets, pow! Mark Masso comes out just fucking screaming at me. He's like, I brought you back, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and another thing. You're on your motherfucking phone. And like, I had butt dialed someone. But Mark had called me to find me. And Mark's like a phone guy. So he had understood that like back then he had picked up on like if your phone rung a certain type of way, that meant you were on the phone.
Okay.
So he came out thinking he was going to catch me like on the phone, like just dicking around. And I'm literally just sitting on the back steps with Jay or one of those guys, like they're smoking cigs. And he's like just screaming at me. And I'm like, dude, where's my phone? I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I pull my phone out and it's like clearly call, and he's just like, you're on a call, and I'm like, dude, you saw me pull my phone out. We were just screaming back and forth.
I always do the thing to entice
I remember
that, bro.
And he literally came back the next day, and we were cool the next day. But he was like, you were on your phone. I was like, dude. I was like, yeah, technically I was on my phone, but I didn't. It was a pretty funny situation.
I'll like let's say I'm serving and like waiting for drinks at the service bar. Like I'll turn my back to like so like nobody at the front can see me, and I'm looking up at the TV, and I'll just like reach into my pocket and I'll hold like chapstick, but it like looks like I'm texting if you're looking at me from behind. So then like whether whoever's like managing and they call my name, I would just turn around. I'm like, yeah, and just like start putting chapstick on, and they're like, oh, nothing. I thought you were on your phone. I was like, no.
How many times did you get somebody with that?
I'd probably say at least every person who was a manager there, definitely, 100%. It's one of my favorites.
I wonder how many people listening are like, oh, I wish I like. A lot of people serve tables. Everybody knows that like feeling of like not being able to use your phone for like that many hours, and then
I saw
getting yelled at.
a great meme that like really summed it up though with that for like restaurants. It was like, how do you describe this meme? I don't even think it was a meme. It was just like a story. It was like, girl checks her phone at work. It's like, my boyfriend just broke up with me. Like, someone needs to watch my section. And the manager was like, yeah, that's why we don't go. Wait, it was like, no. She said, oh my God, I can't believe my boyfriend just texted me and broke up with me. And the manager was like, yeah, that's why you don't check your phone at work. Well, yeah, you can't like bring that stuff in. If you have issues going on, you got to check it at the door. I feel like you put on a uniform and you walk in there and you're like, all right, I'm a server, I'm a bartender, like I work for this place. Like, just do what makes the person that you're selling the stuff to happy.
Yeah, I think if you find success in that business, you can like move on from that business with success.
Oh yeah.
Like which like you very much have. Like there's other people from that restaurant that have used that as kind of like a launch pad in some ways, but you as a photographer, like I remember when you kind of started out, like you were detailing cars and taking pictures of the cars you were detailing, and like you taking the pictures, in my eyes, like kind of is where your photography career started out.
But me not even knowing it.
Without you even knowing it, because like Instagram was kind of a thing.
Oh, it was not a thing.
Like
there wasn't even DMs back then. Think about that. Like that's
Yeah.
how long.
Yeah, that's a long time
But like
ago.
Instagram was like just like
yes, it was just starting.
just starting out. Like
Hashtag fine shined.
yeah, Mikey's Fine Shines, dude. What a business! Like that was that your first like entrepreneurial venture?
No, I was just thinking back to somebody posted like it was like a CD with like a Sharpie written on it, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, I remember we were like 12. And I really wanted an iPod, and I would like go downtown with my mom to the store, and I would walk to the record store, and I would buy like, who would even be popular back then? I could say like DJ Clue, like a hot Friday, like all the new songs come out on Friday. I would buy it, burn it, and then make copies of it and bring it into school, and I'd be like, yo, who wants these CDs? Like it's all the new music, and like
Yeah, because your mom or does she still have the store down in?
No, she
no,
closed
yeah,
it.
she had the
Closed
store in Passyunk Ave down in South Philly. So
that was a lot of time down there, and it was
so
very cool seeing
the
that
kids
stuff.
up where we grew up. Like most of those kids didn't have access to the city.
I would say no. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
you would probably-
when we started to grow up, I would be like, "Oh, let's go downtown," and I'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I'm like, "It's right down 95."
Dude, I definitely
Pedaled CDs.
Yeah, basically.
The statute of limitations may not be up for that one.
Your just hang around time is
Nah,
so
it is.
different. It's just so different down there. It was,
Nobody
but it was
cares.
cool because you learn all the little like I don't know. You're on the street. It's busy as shit. Like you come here and you like grow up in the burbs. You like ride like the most scenic wooded trail to like the baseball park to go hang out for the day. Like it's just different. You're not like on a city block with cars zooming by and you're like a few blocks away from Pat Steaks. Like, yeah.
How early did you appreciate that? Like you understood that there was like a difference between like the city vibe and like this.
Oh,
vibe?
right away. Like when you're a kid, yeah, I feel like I recognize that. I don't feel like they were like, how would you even say it? Like it was just so different, bro. Like you would go down to the city and just seeing just all types of people like walk around and like what that environment is. Like there's no like I just look at like I said like with like the woods and stuff. Like we drive so far to go get places. Think about you live downtown. You live on top of a Wawa, and you and like thousands of other people do too.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the CDs, and then it was at the Fine Shines, or was there anything in between there?
As far as entrepreneurial, no. My first job that I did was like food service. I've always been in the hospitality business.
Yeah.
And my uncle had a place downtown that was like it was in the stadiums area, like where all the food distribution centers are, and it was a nocturnal hours restaurant basically. That like the only people who pulled up were 18-wheelers, and they would come in and like I think I did that like maybe a few shifts with him when I was like 12, and I was like, this is crazy. But I think I got paid $10, and I was like, yo, I'll do this again. I'll go back into another restaurant. And then at 14, or 14 or 15, I started working at Isaac's. I was like a freshman in high school, and I had a plug, Henritzy. He was like, yo, my sister works at Isaac's. They said they need somebody. Go in and ask for an application. I was like, all right.
Yeah, is his sister is Allie?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember what she looks like, but I know the names.
Yeah.
I do
just
know
remember
them.
the name.
If I saw her face, I'd probably know who you're talking about.
That's him, yeah.
Oh, Small World.
Yeah, so that was my first job. I did Isaac's for like, I don't know, 3-4 years. And then junior year of high school, I went to La Stalla. We went there for like my mom's 50th birthday party. And I remember I just like saw what the vibe was like on a Saturday. And I was like, yo, this place is popping. Like, I need to come work here. And I just remember seeing the scene. And I was like, next week went in, applied. And I think like I had a sit down with Mark. And then he was like, all right, I'll let you know.
You probably did.
I think I was like actually persistent about it because I remember I was like I didn't get a good vibe. Like I don't know. He just like he like called me in for an interview. Like I figured I would just like get hired on the spot. I don't know. It was like whatever. But then he was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And then he like got back to me, called me back. And then I started a shift and like worked. And I remember like your first night or two, he like sat me down and like just went over the whole vibe. And like going into it, you're like, damn, I'm not cut out to do this job. He's about to fire me. But then he's just like, all right, I just want to like basically welcome you to like our staff and like blah, blah, blah. And like broke it down for us and like tells us how everything is. It's just like a good family vibe there.
Yeah, for
That was
sure.
cool. I saw a lot of faces go in and out of Isaac's. And then at La Stalla, you see people that like, they're there for a long time. Yeah.
You can make a career out of working at a place like that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Like you can make enough money to like do really well. And I don't think people necessarily understand that or value that as much.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's
there's some restaurants that like you get teenagers working in, and then there's some restaurants that are like actually providing careers for people, and that place is definitely
depends how you utilize it. Yeah, a lot of people do part-time, or if you do full-time, you can make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
So how'd you get into the car shining business?
The car shining business. Yeah,
detailing.
Mikey's Fine Shines, dude.
Yeah.
I was so pumped for that business.
Yeah, I guess
Like
I
your
just
first
used to clean the cars outside my house. Whether it was like did I have a car? Yeah, I had a car. I was like 18. It was I spent like a summer where like I didn't go to college, so like everybody was like prepping and like getting ready to go to school or already had left for school. And I was like never wanted to go to Bucks. I basically like lied in high school, and everybody's like, "Where are you going to college?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Bucks." And I was like, yeah, I took my SATs. Like I'm in there. They're like, "Oh, nice." And people were still like happy to hear it. But honestly, like, dude, I was like embarrassed to like say like that time in high school, like, oh, you're not going to college.
A lot of pressure, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's like, you got to go to
this
college.
area
That's
is
what
like that.
we're all doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I was like, I'm not good at school. Like my class rank is like so. Like I remember we got a letter, and my dad opened it, and he's like, "Yo, your class rank's 510 out of 537." And he's like, "You mean to tell me there's 27 kids in that school dumber than you?" And I was like, "No, I just don't care." And like I said, I started that first job at Isaac's as a freshman. Like, dude, you work those hours at a restaurant, even if you're a kid, like you're still getting home on a school night at like 10 o'clock maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And you're like, fuck it, dude, I'm just going to sleep in tomorrow. I'll go in late or like whatever. Like I was making money, like decent money, and like working in high school. I was like, do homework or like make $60 tonight. And I'm like, fucking go in and get those tips, dude. So yeah, I don't know. I just focus on working more than applying myself academically, which like to this day now, as far as like certain things go that you definitely should have learned in school, and I'll be like, I missed out on that. I don't know how to do that. Like, not that you're gonna do calculus like ever, but like
Never.
as far
Yeah.
as physically challenging.
But as
myself
as an entrepreneur, and like I know you real well, and when you meet obstacles, you figure it out. Like I don't think there's anything you haven't figured out yet.
That I try
So,
not
like-
to like give up on.
Yeah. So like realistically, looking back on that, like what has come up in your craft or your like path so far that you're like, fuck, should have paid attention in 4th grade?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Like honestly, like
Okay,
people listening to this might be
here,
like,
great one that I always look at, and I like check myself on it when I got into business, and it was like when I started that detailing business super young,
Right.
and trying to like network and market, and then you're like, oh fuck, I spelled there wrong, like that kind of stuff. Like a lot of people still will fuck that up, like there,
Grammar.
and your, yeah, like grammar, like punctuation, things like that. That I just like. You know, I would go to write a nice email proposal to somebody, and it's like everything's lowercase, and like it's just a bunch of enters, and it's like, all right, have a good one. And then I look at
Have
like,
a good day.
yeah, I was like, all right, see ya, thanks, Mike Nappz. Like, and it just didn't look good. And like I was like, all right, if you want to be professional and you want to look good, like you need to know the basics. But as far as like plant and animal science and geography and like anything like that,
plant and animal science.
no, yeah, that was my.
Biology.
I didn't take biology.
No, like, you know, physics or calculus, they teach you how fast like a funnel drains. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
Like, when are you gonna ever apply that?
in college with a bong.
A beer bong. I guess you're
Beer
right.
bong.
A beer, yeah, beer
Yeah.
bong, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so like when I look at that, like in like what you just said, like it kind of looks like we should change school and make it more experiential rather than like so isolated on like these 5 subjects.
Absolutely.
Like,
It's really not even 5 anymore.
Like
How
maybe we
about-
should have like math heavy and like grammar, but the rest of it should be like, one, you should start out with like, hey, you need to be interested and okay with doing a lot of different things and experiencing things, and then giving the kids an opportunity to go and like just try stuff and being okay with trying stuff. Because like one of the biggest things that like my parents instilled in me, I don't know who it was, but like it was like once you start something, you finish it.
yeah.
And there'd be times like my brother rose through the ranks in like martial arts and he fucking hated every day. Like you could tell he just did not want to be there. And like it just sucks.
Well, why'd it keep going?
Because like you started it, you finish it.
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
reach that end
Okay,
point,
well, there
that
you go.
ultimate goal of like
Like, don't
whatever.
give up on it.
Yeah, so you don't give up in it. So like that definitely taught. Now looking at us now, like neither of us gives up on anything. So like there is benefit to that. But I think you also need to be soft-handed in the sense that like you need to be okay with your kid going out and like starting a detail business and being like looking at it and being like, hey, like my son's got a detail business. Like he might change his mind next week. I'm cool with him. Whatever he wants to freaking do.
At that age, it was cool. But
Because like you take that and like I think you launched from Mikey's Fine Shines and then you just went on like you explored a couple different careers.
Definitely. Yeah, I think also kind of what happens is you were able to not take a path that was like presented to you like a lot of other kids. Like, all right, you're going to school, you're going to college.
Here's
that's
your
your path.
routine, yeah.
They then get out of college and they're like, oh shit, like what do
Yeah,
I do?
might-
What do I
might
do
not be
now,
your
mom
path,
and dad?
yeah.
And they're like, oh, here's your first job. And then like by the time you're 35, you wake up, you're like, I've done like a path of somebody else, not my own. But then pretty much anybody that's successful that like didn't go to college, like they figured out early on that whole mentality of how to be a self-starter, like whatever you want to call it, but also to try, like not be afraid to try new things. So
yeah.
it just,
But it
No,
also
it's
sets a
cool.
different vibe for like people around you, like because people approach me at least and they'll be like, "Oh, like you're doing all these things," or like looks exciting, and like sometimes I'm like I'm always like appreciative of it, but like I think what people are seeing is that like I'm doing me.
Like, yeah, what you,
You know
like
what I'm
to
saying?
do.
So like you're not really seeing what
Like,
what
nah,
I'm
it's
doing
just
might
another day.
you might come over and start doing what I'm doing and be miserable. Like you might think this is cool, but what you're seeing is
Yeah.
that like we're enjoying what we're doing and we're like following our own path rather than like going to college, getting out of college, getting the job you were
applying to
supposed
the
to get
internship.
for your
Yeah.
major. Yeah.
I think that creates a lot of problems.
Yeah, unhappy people.
My look at it always was like, all right, so I don't do well in school just because I choose not to. Like, that was my problem. I don't think I'm unintelligent. I just think I never applied myself. And that's the type of shit I look back at. I'm like, all right, well, I probably should have at least absorbed something. Maybe I would have had a little more academic interest, but like, I just ended up being into making money and working. And I think I spent that summer like enjoying my last summer with my friends, being like, all right, have fun at college. And then like there was a few of us who stayed home, so I still had like core friends to be around, but like it just got old really quick. And I was like, yo, this like I need to do something. And like going back to you said, how did I start it? Like I basically was into just washing cars. And my aunt was like, why don't you start a business and go to other people's houses and wash their cars? And I was like,
What was the first car you washed?
Believe it or not, it was a Bentley. Yeah, it was. I made these little.
That guy was ballsy.
Well, he didn't know. He had no idea. But guess what, dude?
That car shined.
I made these little flyers, like these little paper handouts, and I would go to the NAC and I would put them on nice cars at the NAC. And I put one on this Bentley that was like parked outside. And next thing you know, I got a phone call, and the guy, believe it or not, I remember. I won't even say his name, but whatever. He was one of my best customers, right? First time I go out to wash his car. It's a Bentley with a soft top convertible, right? So I go to wipe it down. I had like a blade, like a rubber blade that you basically like just smear on the car and all the water comes off. So I wasn't worried about drying that. I went to the top and I didn't have microfiber towels yet. Like think about like how you say like you just jump into a business of cleaning cars. Oh, you're using fucking rags that you wipe down a counter with. Like there's lint everywhere. So I go wipe the hood, I go to wipe the top of the car over, and next thing you know, it's like it was like a dog brushing up on you and all the hair just coming off. And I was like, oh my God. And then he like came out like towards the end. He's like, how's it going? And I was like sitting there like picking off one by one. And believe it or not, he gave me the patience. He's like, all right, now you know for next time, just don't use those up there. He's like, but you know, I'd like to have you come back. And he gave me 2 cars a week for like 2 years.
Dude, that's
Besides
insane. Because that guy probably
Do I know this guy?
Probably.
Yeah.
That guy was smart enough to know. Like he had to be smart, right? He's driving these cars around less. But he's like, look, a kid had incentive to put a flyer on my car. Obviously, starting a new business, couldn't spell there right.
Yeah.
Right. And
I'll wash it at your house. Wash it with the wrong one.
Yeah, you did that, and he's like, oh look, like I'm gonna give this kid a shot, and I'm gonna teach him. And look, he started your whole thing, and then all of a sudden you say, I do Bentleys.
Well, that was like my first. Right. It was cool because my first car I posted was a Bentley, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, like you're down." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know, I do this all the time."
And that's when the pictures
dude,
started.
that's crazy. Yeah. That one guy could have changed your life.
Absolutely. No, there was actually one guy that I remember. It was like I did it for years, and then like after like 3 years, I got into a bad car accident and like just basically like slammed my knees into the front of my car, and like my knees were never good from that, like just detailing. My knees were fucked up. You're like kneeling on concrete and like scrubbing rims for like a few hours a day consistently, and it just like tore on me. And then I banged up my knees in that car crash, and I remember trying to get back into it. And like I did somebody's car, and it was like the first one I did in like months because I obviously stopped doing it after I got hurt. And not only did it hurt, but he had like pine or something like embedded in his paint. That like he came out and he saw it and he was so mad that it didn't come out. I'm like, dude, it's pine and it changed the actual paint on your car. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. And he was just like a real dick about it and like kind of tore me down on the job. And I was like, damn, that fucking sucked. Like that guy's an asshole. But in a way, it was kind of the thing that like got me out of it. I was like, dude, oh, maybe
it closed the door on Mikey's friendship.
Absolutely, he like fucking slammed the door on me on the last job. I was like, oh, that guy was so unhappy, and it actually made me be like, all right, maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
Dude, you walked away from a pretty serious wreck, though.
Yes, that was terrifying.
Dude, you were on 95. You were going on 95 northbound, and a car blew through the thing.
Yeah, coming home from Philly, going home to like where we all lived. We were in Newtown. I was like in the car with my buddies, and we're just driving, and out of nowhere, like this car went through the guardrail. And, like, we didn't see it happening, but I just see at one point, I see the car coming up the grass, and it's a car going backwards. And me and, like, Dan, he was sitting next to me. He braced for it and, like, saw it, but the other 2 kids in the back were fucking asleep. So, like, out of nowhere, just, like, this car bangs into us, flips, and then we kind of just, like, skirted off. We didn't take, like, the brunt of it, but it was scary as shit.
Yeah. Dude, I remember seeing your car and being like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shout out to Acura. They saved all of us.
Yeah. That car took the hit.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
That was
for
the
sure.
first time in a serious car accident that kind of like wakes you up. You're like, holy shit!
I
Like,
feel
That
like
it's like enlightening. You're
oh
like
my
that
God.
can
Yeah, I can
happen.
die, and I do this every day.
When you wreck like that, like on a motorcycle or in a car or something like that, and you feel that energy,
yeah.
like you come out of that like
This is no joke.
You
Driving
never-
a car is not a joke.
You never forget the image every time you get in an accident. Right before you hit it,
that blink.
that image will be stuck in your head. I've been in like 3 or 4 accidents every single time.
And then you like black out. Like
Yeah.
it's like
And
it's a
then
moment of like.
correct. You black out and then you usually wake up to like that gunpowder smell or like you come like and then you're like, oh shit. Like
I was just gonna say, like I was on the phone and I was driving past. It looked like an accident had just happened, and I could smell it. And I was like, every time I smell that smell of them either putting up like the oil, I guess they lay that stuff down on
sand,
the ground.
yeah.
Yeah, I see that and I smell it, and it reminds me of my accident. So crazy. I'm like, I don't know why. I probably like it's a scent thing.
Yeah, so you were cleaning these cars, and I remember like monitoring your progress through Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah,
I'd be like, "Holy shit, Mikey just cleaned up what?"
yeah.
And you were getting these cars,
I
and
landed
like
good clients.
you were taking pictures of the cars and like showcasing the cars. Like to this day, we have people that we interview that are like either just starting out in business that we're trying to like pull into our business, be like, shit.
Right.
Or we see people that are struggling for over lengths of time. And like people's inability to showcase their business or their product or whatever is like 9 times out of 10 a problem for most people. And we've literally created a business to like solve that problem for these people. And like so have you, but like you solved that. Like you were taking good pictures back then for how old and inexperienced you were in taking pictures.
I do look back at the pictures. They're all like archived in my Instagram, and now
Yeah.
I'm like super critical of like everything that I post and I look
But
at.
do you look back on them and you're like, damn, that's where like
I look at it and I'm like, I've been a photographer all along and I never noticed it. I didn't notice it from that, but my family and I went to Italy like years ago, and I look back at some of those pictures and I'm like, holy shit. Like I look at it now as like a photographer. I'm like, that's a good picture. And there was like a decent amount of them. So
dude, I remember a couple of pictures from that trip.
Yeah, it
of
was-
like you with your pops.
yeah, it was dope.
That was good.
It was dope, dude. I love traveling. That's something after this goes down, bro. Like I'm dying to get to Europe. Like it's cool being able to go to Florida and stuff like that right now, but I really want to get out of the country. I'm dying to go to Europe somewhere.
where would you go?
I think I want to
planned
go
out?
back to Italy because I need to reshoot it. I did
It's
it on
critical.
oh yeah, no, I did it on an iPhone. I went to Barcelona and Paris, and I was a photographer at that point. I brought my camera, and just getting those pictures, to me, they feel like they're worth more. Like, I don't know, it's like I had to travel so far to go get this picture, and like I
Yeah.
don't know, I just like
Are any of those pictures for sale on your?
oh, for sure.
Oh,
They have their own category. Yeah. And I look at it like that. Like everything's like the same price, basically.
Yeah, that's
Then I think about it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to sell this picture of Paris. I had to go really far to go get here. I was like, I'm going to charge more for this one.
yeah, overhead bitches.
Yeah.
What do you like shooting? Any particular thing?
Things I like shooting? Honestly, like, I never do a job that I've been in the car being like, I don't want to go do this. And I think for coming on like 3.5 years of doing this, like that's a great track record. That just makes me feel like, all right, I'm just going here to do this. Like today I was like, I don't know, I started early today and I had a job at like 11. So by the time I was like already there, I was like, all right, like this is just like one motion of like my whole day. Just come in, go in. It was like a real estate shoot, in and out, an hour and 14 minutes. I timed it.
Yeah, so you haven't found anything you don't want to shoot yet?
I like doing everything. I enjoy my like, all right, so I do this for work where I do rings and homes and products and events for all these people. That's work to me. When I feel like I'm on the street by myself and I'm just taking pictures of shit, whether it be like architecture, nature, like, and I'm by myself, that's my like downtime. I feel like that's probably my favorite stuff to shoot because I'll have like thousands of photos due at a time if it's like from a big event compiled up with like other jobs. And when I don't feel like working, I'm literally going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to just switch my folder and I'm going to pull up my pictures of like a sunset in the city or, you know, some cars I shot, like my hobby pictures that I like turn into prints to sell. That's like my like downtime with work, I would consider.
Yes, like I noticed that you're like you kind of have like a different routine than me, but it's similar, just different hours. Like you get
I
up
like,
and
I
go.
liked catching you early at the gym. It was
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
But I stay up late.
Yeah, you're getting those like when I see you getting those early morning shots,
Yes.
I know you've been up all night long.
Yes.
So then when I would then see you at the gym, after like I see you like maybe doing some like work that night, I'm like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
I would sleep for like 4.5 hours, and I like felt like I was fine.
Yeah.
And I did it for like a month straight in December. I got really serious back into like going back into the gym. And once I started getting back into a gym routine, I was like, I have to get up and do this. And like right now I switched it because I can't help but go to bed until 2:00. I can't maintain a consistent enough schedule where like during the week I can get away with going to bed at maybe like 10:00 at the earliest and waking up at 4 and being like, all right, that was plenty of sleep. Where like I'll have Friday and Saturday nights where I still end up either going out or like doing jobs, and I end up home at like 1:00 in the morning, and then I want to eat, and then I got to shower, and I'm in bed at like 2:30, 3:00. So no, you can't get up at 4 and go to bed at 3. You can, but it's like in Miami.
Is the crowd's got to be different between 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and 11?
For sure. I would say the 5 a.m. crowd at the gym is the same 18 people every morning. And maybe like one or two that like flake off and like skip a day or two. But like,
they're like, oh, we got to get back in. And
so now I'm going in where like I'll go to bed whatever time I go to bed, and then I stop setting an alarm, and I just get up, like we were saying, like about like how your body just wakes you up. Like that first time I wake up, I just get out of bed, and I feel like much better doing that because your body is rested to the point where like it's fully charged, and like, you know, when you fully charge your phone and a little light comes on, it's like, all right, phone charge. You're like, all right, get up and start your shit.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a great habit that I have that I don't really think about too much. It's like when it's time to get out of bed, I just get out. Like I don't. When I was younger, you would spend time being like, oh, what am I gonna do today? Or just thinking, be like, oh, is that girl like me? It's like no. Now it's just kind of like when I'm awake, it's like, oh, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Time to go.
I know. I feel like even like, I guess because photography too, I like really appreciate like sunrises and sunsets. Like I'll go out, like I'll wake up, I'm like, wow, I'm up before the sun is up right now. I was like, I have like 2 hours to go to the gym and come home and get a shower and eat breakfast. And like, I feel like there was days where like I would be in my computer desk, like ready to go and do anything, or just get on the computer, and it was like 7:30, like 8 in the morning, and I was like, wow, I'm already at work, and I did like 2.5 hours worth of stuff that what I would be doing if I sleep until 8. Then I'm gonna start my work day at 11. So it's a huge difference. The day's short. The average work day is not long. 6 hours everybody spends at work, except for now with COVID. Everybody works from home. You can work whenever, right? I don't know how that works. I still go out. I feel like we've been in a pandemic, and I feel like I just do different jobs, but I don't work from home. I can't do my job from home. There was a few. I got a few cool pandemic jobs where people would like ship me products and be like, "All right, go take this jar to the park and shoot it." And I'm like, "Okay." And it was like mid quarantine. Yeah, I'm like, "All right, cool." And it was like some sea moss.
Yeah, that's what Dev's into CMOS.
Yeah, healthy vibe. Shout out Mo. Yeah.
The fuck is CMOS?
CMOS, I got a good breakdown on it because when I do these jobs with product, I want to sit there and like whether it's jewelry or food or like whatever, like I like hearing the creator of that thing talk about what they love to do, because then like you hear, like you get educated on it, and then you see like that passion, and it's kind of like reflective where I'm like, all right, I want to fucking kill this shoot for this guy. I want to make this like perfect. But CMOS is basically moss from the sea that comes up to the shore. All right, so you got to fact check me on this. You could definitely fact check me on it.
Yeah.
It's moss from the sea, and it's maybe dried or not dried, and then it's blended with some other fruit flavors, and it had the consistency and taste of like applesauce. Like the berry one tasted like mixed berry applesauce.
Literally, like go benefits. Yeah. So when I looked into this, the benefits were literally everything and everything. Like when you got in it was just kind of like, well, what doesn't this do?
Oh, so it's like some superfood.
It's like a superfood where it's like if it was this legit, I think more people would be on this already. But I'm not trying to be that skeptical.
Kale's a new superfood I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, see, like may prevent Parkinson's disease.
There it is.
May prevent
Kim Kardashian.
Ever since
like the CMOS smoothie.
Yeah. So who knows? Don't knock it. Good for if it makes you feel good, eat it.
It may prevent Parkinson's.
In a study done with worms, extract from sea moss was shown to decrease accumulation of, I don't even know what that word is. Glycine.
That company paid like $250,000 for Kim Kardashian to post that.
And reduce
now they're
stiffness
popping.
and slowness in movement. I don't know. Whatever. So, shout out to the sea moss dude.
Shout out CMAF.
Block. You and you've been doing, so like, what is your business called now?
Nappz Media LLC.
Yeah, and that's what it always was. You just
Well, it
like
was
changed.
always-
You just refreshed it a couple of times.
It was always Mikey Nappz. Like that was like my Instagram page. That like when I started to do like cool jobs, but like you kind of gotta like separate like your cool jobs from like your like corporate kind of jobs, and you just want to have two different names, I guess. Like if I'm doing entertainment stuff, I would consider it to be like Mikey Nappz stuff, and then if I'm doing like, you know, corporate jobs, like going in where I'm on a property that like asks to see my insurance policy like for my business because like I'm a liability on their property. I'm like, okay, here's Nappz Media. Like, we're just two different guys.
Yeah, my friend has that with an LLC. He has when he does stuff for himself because he has a studio in Trenton. So he's Colmado the studio when he does like music and
Yeah, say that again. That was sweet.
Colmado the studio. Colmado the studio.
Oh my god, that sounds so
and
good.
then when he does this corporate shit, like he's following Governor Wolf around right now for New Jersey. So he does Laura Productions, which
Okay.
is his like last name.
Yeah, you gotta have all your ducks in a row because I let it slide for like a really long time where I didn't get insurance, and then I think, excuse me, this one job I was at, I had this big flash extender that was basically like a light stand with a big pole and an umbrella and like a heavy ass flash. The flash probably weighed like 10 pounds, and I think I did have a bean bag, like a weight bag at the bottom of it to like keep the legs down. And we were doing family portraits, and like one of the kids like ran by and like kicked the stand, and I was like, yo. And I caught it, and I looked at the path that it was going to fall into, and this was a really, really lavish, nice house. And the table was just, like, sick all glass. And I'm like, oh, my God. And, like, that, like, $1 million, like, do you want this $1 million liability policy? Like, flashed in front of my face, and I caught it.
Yep.
And literally after that, I was like, dude, get the shit like in line, because like if something happens like that, like even with Fine Shines, dude, like I never got insurance for it. Like I was a kid, bro. I was just hustling, like trying to clean cars.
You don't know when you're that age. Like
No.
we printed shirts back in the day, and like we thought we were kings, like printing all these T-shirts and stuff. And then we printed a whole bunch of bootleg T-shirts for like the Phillies. And the Phillies didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, and then you learn, you're like, oh shit, well, all right.
We didn't know we couldn't do that.
Sorry, officer, I didn't know
Sorry.
we couldn't do that.
There's actually a copyright for photographers for the Eiffel Tower at night. You're not allowed to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower at night and sell it.
That's bullshit.
That illumination.
What's up
is
with that?
It's bullshit.
The illumination of the Eiffel Tower is copyrighted by the guy who did the lights.
Illuminated it?
Yes, the guy who illuminated it.
Dude,
yeah.
seriously? Let's put this dude in the dirt.
Dude, I really have to go to the bathroom.
Let's pause it.
Pause the
Let's
shit.
pause it.
Cool.
Drain the dragon.
Eiffel Tower.
All right, yeah, let's go. We were talking about this. It's illegal to sell a picture of the Eiffel Tower at night.
Dude.
So unfortunately, one of my personal favorites and what I think is the best picture I ever took was a long exposure of the twinkle light show that like goes up the entire Eiffel Tower. So instead of it being like speckled, it's a long exposure, so it shoots it for like 4 seconds, and it shows every single light on, and it just, I don't know, it looks crazy. It's one of my favorite pictures.
You want to know how you get around that? This is from like another incident that we won't go into. But if you sell a product and you give that product away for free with said product,
Then it's okay.
are you selling it?
No.
Like, Andrew, man, that's an
a
expensive
gift.
coffee mug.
Be like,
Wait,
oh my god!
So I printed that picture for my house, right? Because I put like 3 pictures of Paris like on my wall. They were like,
you heard a bang at the door.
no,
This is the
no. So I can
This is the
print
police.
it. I can print it. It's okay. Yeah, the police pulled up. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
the bleeds.
Oh my god, they're here.
So I got it printed, and the guy who does my prints, he was like, hey, there's an extra one in there. I like something jammed with the printer, and it was like so small. There was like a little imperfection on it, and he was like, you just get 2 copies. There's like a little smudge on it. And like I gave it to somebody as like a gift to like give to whoever. They were like, oh, I'll put it in a frame. I'll give it to him.
Yeah,
Like, how much you want for it? And I was like, I actually can't charge you. That's illegal. And he's like, what? And then I had to tell him the story because people always say like, oh, what's your favorite picture you ever took? And I'm like, it's this one that I can't
damn,
sell.
dude.
Yeah. But
Now,
it's okay.
now you know. You want to hear like the weirdest thing? I like want to give you money for this picture.
Yeah.
I want a copy of this picture, and
Like,
I want to give you money.
Like
for
you don't
it.
have it. Like, it's not your picture, but it's at my house.
It's
like
a
hanging.
consignment.
Just be like,
Like,
just
no.
be like,
A rented consignment. Can you maybe rent out your picture?
yeah. Can I rent it from?
Oh,
like,
so that's bringing me into something now that I'm just trying to research. It's called NFTs. I don't
What's
know.
that?
I don't know. I'm trying to
Oh my God.
understand it.
NFTs,
I'm
let's
seeing,
do it.
Yeah, I'm seeing digital like digital animations or highlight reels of athletes or like pictures that are selling. Like it could be something that a graphic designer made and you buy it and you're the only one who has it and it's yours. So it's selling like digital art basically is what it seems like. But then I'm like, all right, but other people can buy it too. But I basically think that you get the file
instead of like having the canvas, you have the JPEG or something. Like
no, not even that. You're holding a piece of its worth is what I believe is what it means.
that. This is interesting.
Well, maybe we can look it up because you're like a savvy guy.
I
you
can get
figure
into
this out.
something like that.
It's part of the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, I tried to read that word and what's it say? Fungible. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh no,
fungible.
I'm on a mushroom page. This is the wrong thing.
Non-fungible token.
Yeah, fungible token. That sounds legitimate. I don't know what that is.
Is this it?
Yeah.
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 NFT.
It's
What?
one of a kind
Somebody started
trading
talking
card.
about blockchain. So I'm like, what is a blockchain? I don't know.
Very high level. Most NFTs are a part of the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum we won't go into that. What's worth picking in NFTs? NFTs can be really anything digital, such as drawings, music, your brain, download. Okay, so basically what they're saying here is you have 100 playing cards, right? And you arrange 100 playing cards together in a rectangle. And those 100 playing cards make up a finished picture, right?
Okay.
If you separated that finished picture, like say you could take the Mona Lisa and cut it into 100 pieces, you can essentially own a piece
Like you're splitting up the worth of it.
of the item.
Okay.
That's a crazy idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Stonks all over Instagram. I love looking at the investing on Instagram. Everybody's into so much stuff.
Good for them for, whatever drugs they were on when they came up with that. That's interesting. So
It's a thing though. It's crazy. I'm like, I look at it. I was like,
the
I could just-
blockchain's a thing. Blockchain's real. Ethereum's a real platform that's
for currency.
that's where like the cryptocurrencies, there's a variety of them, and the cryptocurrencies have to be hosted on a system or a network, and that is Ethereum.
Whomever paid
Yeah.
$390,000 for a 50-second video, so it's not a. I don't understand.
I think they're just saying I think it's just an example. I don't think there's like a control, like saying like this is what this relationship looks like. I think they're just highlighting the fact that people are paying money for digital art that you literally can just right click, copy,
Dude,
save.
what you just said about the NFT is now explained on the paragraph that was not up on the screen.
Was it? No. So I did.
That's high IQ right there.
It's good for something. Explaining blockchain.
To put it in the terms of physical art collecting, anyone could buy a copy of the Monet.
But see, this is where I go a step further. Is like, how do I get involved in this? Like, how do I?
look at it and I'm like, well, I have pictures I
somebody.
could
Okay,
sell.
somebody spent $3,600 for the Gucci Ghost.
It's worth 16,000 right now. Well, that's what the seller's asking.
But why? Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, what? Like, okay, here, Andrew, you're a shirt guy. Okay, you make shirts. If you buy this, does that mean you could use this item and now you can make shirts with it? It's your one of a kind image.
Yeah, you could.
All right,
You
so
could.
that's
or
for
if somebody
who
wanted to use it
tried-
or here's where it would pop off. Say this Gucci Ghost, right, becomes like the next trap symbol, and people want to use it in like their music video.
Right.
You can lease the image to people.
Yeah, but how do you know that this artist isn't just gonna come along and be like, all right, I'm gonna make a purple Gucci Ghost?
You don't see people like involved in these types of businesses usually have somebody that's like Like I know the guy who is, Jake and Logan Paul. Like I know a guy who's on their legal team, and his job, like his legal business, which is separate from the legal team's legal business, all he's responsible for is like what he used to do was he used to go after bars and stuff like that would host fight night, like have pay-per-view things and not pay for it, the appropriate number.
Okay.
So like then the Paul brothers hired him to do like that, but for their social media.
People stealing posts or
okay.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
people stealing posts, people not paying them for branding.
Dude, some kids
People not-
found a picture that I took of little Uzi Vert's Bugatti outside of recess,
Yeah.
and used the picture.
Oh,
and
I remember that.
made a Hot Wheel
I
of the
remember that.
car, and I
Yeah.
saw it, and I was like,
That's
yeah,
my
that's
photo.
my picture. I was like, what are you doing? So I like emailed them and like hit them with my like legal talk after I got educated. On that.
Cease and
And he
desist.
was, yeah, I was literally.
Cease and desist
I
now.
used that word in there. and they were like, dude, we're sorry, we're just college kids. Like, we'll take it down. And I'm
Dude,
like,
I remember that.
kid's
It
probably
popped up,
blocked me.
and he was like, "Did you believe this?" I was like, "Well, dude, somebody just like." I'm like, "It's awesome that they're stealing your shit, but it's also not
No, yeah,
awesome at the same
it's
time."
It's somewhat like flattering. I'm like, wow, they're gonna use my picture to make a Hot Wheel. I'm like, how come it says like Thought Wheel? It was like a bootleg one. It was
It
not.
wasn't even a hot. They stole that too.
No,
It
yeah.
was funny. That happens to us too. Not
Um,
like we don't have Hot Wheels of
Well,
like
you
our
let people,
products,
like steal your content.
but people steal content. Like I
Absolutely.
get like right off the bat, like when I talk to you about it, I'm like, you just need to be like chill about it. But every time it happens, I'm immediately red hot, like furious about it. I'm like, because it's not just like a picture that we have.
It's your work.
It's
and
like-
your investment.
We either like when it's construction, like we have hours of design, conversations with the customer, our team's physically working on it. Gilmore's got to go out there and make it look good. We've got to make sure like the house is clean before he gets like sometimes thousands of hours, man hours go into one of those pictures.
Yeah, I would say.
So when people just like rip it off and be like, "Oh, we could do this for you," I'm like, no. Like we took that picture for the sole purpose of like making us sell, not you sell.
I think when you go into a job like that, people only see like 1/3 of what you're actually doing. Like they don't see like the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like they see you come into the house like doing your job physically, but like, all right, well, planning and getting supplies, like you only see, and like drawing things up that need to be calculated.
Do you feel that way when people like look at your photos and like they don't realize like what goes in behind each
Yeah.
photo?
I
Oh,
would
that probably happens to you more than it happens to
Oh,
us.
yeah,
People are like,
with,
it costs what?
Yeah, be like, whoa, what? Just to take a picture? I'm like, yeah, but like, look at all this backpack I brought with me. Like, you don't have.
It's a
this.
nice backpack.
Yeah, it's
dude.
a
You see
nice
this lens,
backpack.
bro?
Yeah, it's got lens cushions. It's insulated.
When you talk to them, you know how you handed your lens earlier to Andrew, and you're like, "This is the Toyota Camry." Like, do you tell them this is the Bugatti? And like,
I literally say, I'm like, this thing is the Ferrari of nightlife photography, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, because when you charge, you have to like put travel time, your
Yeah.
equipment,
it's I said like it's
all
a
that
third.
stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
all the years you spent leading up to learning it. That's
Yeah.
why somebody that's like older can charge more than somebody that's younger in a business. Like
Yeah.
you have years in the game, you've made the mistakes that lead you to be, more efficient. Like if I come into a job, say you compare two houses and like, we can build it in half the time, but you get the same house. You don't pay us half as much. You almost pay us twice as much because we got it done in half the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have that many
Priority.
more years of experience and things like
And
that
we
to get
actually
it done.
focused on your job.
You know what I'm saying?
Instead
So
of
it's
working
like,
on 4 other houses in a week.
do you find that you have like a go-to like dialogue when people like push back on the price, or are you at a point now where you're so busy where you're like, hey man, like I can really make you look good. You came to me, you know what you're gonna get. So like,
I feel like I try not to like. I'm never a pushy business person, and that's like something that I was thinking about today. Actually, I was like, damn. I was like, one of my focuses for like the new year with my business was like how I said, like I was like change my name a little bit. Like, all right, focus a little more on like marketing and like going into like specific genres, right? Like thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm going to make a list of real estate offices, or I'm going to make a list of jewelry stores, or like another one, I'm going to make a list of all these Cuban restaurants in the country because I have all these pictures from Cuba. I'm like, I need to focus on marketing. And then like I look at what my schedule's been, and I'm like, I've been out shooting, and then I'm editing, and then I'm shooting, and I'm editing. Like it's almost like where I would like need to hire somebody. You can't do all that shit yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard. But the fortunate part of that is that I am busy. Like, I'm out shooting, so I'm like, all right, I'm not having time to go get more, but at least I have it still coming in.
But the conversation of when someone pushes back on your price, for you to say, hey, like, I'm so busy, like, it's almost
I
a
wouldn't
better.
say that. What do I say?
It's
to
almost a
people?
better argument.
I usually say,
it's like, hey, I'm busy.
well, somebody will say, like, like, we don't need that much. I'm like, well, listen, if you need a picture or you need 100 pictures, it's probably going to get done within an hour. So, like, I have to charge for me that. I'll say that that's what I charge to come out. Like, if it's like a minimum job, like people who do like events and stuff, like you hire a photographer for the day for like a wedding, like it's not cheap. Like it's a lot of manpower and a lot of work. Like I think in August I did like my first large wedding, and I had done like a couple before that were like, hey, you're just going to come to this church and take pictures, or hey, you're just going to come to this dinner. It wasn't like a full on day, so I didn't understand how much work it was. When we got to the hotel at 6 a.m. to get everybody getting ready, like the bride and the groom side, and we didn't leave until 9:50 at night, which was still kind of early because it was lit, but they like let us go because there gets to a point in a wedding where it's like everybody's drunk and like
We don't want you to see
you
this.
don't need to take
don't need
pictures
photos.
anymore. Yeah, so it's a long day. And
Do you add video when you do that too?
sometimes I do, but if it's a wedding, that's something that like I gotta be like I'm spot on the whole day, and that's the whole thing. Like I'll charge completely different to do a wedding than to do a nightclub, because I'll shoot at a nightclub and I have this like figure in my head. It's called like my capture rate. Like if I'm in a nightclub, like I've had nights where I've shot like 900 pictures in like 3 hours, and the album's like 180 pictures. Like to me, that's bad capture rate. That's what I look at. Like if I'm at a wedding, like there's nonstop shit going on. Not that it even is like it's a highlight. That person wants that picture of their aunt hanging out with their grandma because like they just do. And that's something I like try and like ride on as a photographer. Like I always ask other people who got married and had photographers, I was like, what did you get with your photography for your wedding? And they go, oh, well, they gave us this many pictures, but like they wouldn't give us the unedited pictures. And I'm like, why? That picture, like I said, of your aunt and your grandma, I'm like, why would I want that? I'm not going to do anything with it. Like, just take it here. I took it at the thing that you paid me to do. Like, I might not put an edit on it, but they might want to look at it. I don't know. I've talked to people who they say that they don't think they got enough pictures for like what they got charged. And I feel like photographers might not want to sit through and edit, because that 16-hour day, I think there was like 4,500 pictures that I went through.
A lot of pictures.
That's
to
a
go
lot
through.
of pictures in one day.
Yeah, we had Carlo on the podcast like way back when. He might have done like episode 14 or something like that. He did my wedding with a small team. It was like him and another guy. I think maybe two. There was a total of 3, maybe 2 guys.
Yeah.
And he sent us the picture package, and it was excellent. And then I messaged him. I'm like, let me get the whole thing. And he's like, all right. And I got the Dropbox, and I literally have all the negative video, all the negative like all the pictures and video from the whole thing.
Yeah,
uncut.
to me,
because like I like the video they put together, but being like
listening to
we're
the unedited
we're
video.
we're here, like we have we could possibly clip it up. I could make 8 different videos, and they could probably all be better.
They probably
less.
put like a song over like your video, right?
No, it wasn't that bad. Carlo is a really talented cinematographer, and it could be argued that I hired like a movie
producer.
quality cinematographer to do my wedding.
Yeah, but that's
So,
what
like-
some people want.
So, but like I got him like right before he blew up.
Okay.
So like all of my stuff is really, really good. I just like wanted to see like all the shots and maybe like see if there was stuff in there that like he just didn't think was like that big
But
of a
that's-
deal, or maybe he's focusing on
Maybe
me.
that's why photographers get upset, because like the sentence you were just about to say, like maybe he didn't think this shot was good. Like,
No, I'm not saying it was good, but like
but it didn't belong in the video, or it didn't belong in the album. Like, when then you could be like, well, why'd you cut that out? You don't think that was a good picture? I'd be like, yeah, it did, but like his eyes crossed. He's not looking at the screen. Like, you don't want that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like I guess me personally, knowing how much like video and stuff that like we do here,
Right.
I just know there's like
so much footage
you
that
you
just probably
could
never gets seen.
me and Gilmar and I could put together 45 minutes of a tape, and I could clip it up one way, he could clip it up another way, and then John could clip it up another way, and they're all funny and good.
And different.
But like
Their own style.
one of our styles pops a little bit more.
Yeah.
And like you got to kind of have to like, and then you're like, oh, I like how you did it there. And then there's always like that influence and change. So I wanted the raw because like someday I might be like, we might have such good editing here that like I could redo
You
it
wanna
or
chop
like
it up, yeah.
maybe I want to chop it up. So
Or maybe it'll
I
just
like
sit
to
on
give
your
it
hard
all
drive.
away.
Like, you never
Yeah,
know.
but
I mean, I've already
he's-
chopped it
he's-
up twice.
He's still got it. Still his footage. I
Yeah.
feel like you're buying. Like somebody actually just asked me about that. They were like, asked me about like a watermark, because somebody showed me it was like engagement pictures and like it was like really aggressively like watermarked.
I hate that.
I was like, why?
That shit's so stupid.
yeah,
Yeah, so
we
you get it,
literally
yeah.
just talked about the watermarks.
Do you
the
think
other day.
people just don't charge enough for what they're worth, and they're trying to validate?
No, I think they're trying
time?
to get exposure no matter what. But I don't.
I think
know.
if the picture pops, like people will be like, "Who took that?"
Exactly.
picture?
That's what
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
people to look at. I want people to see my picture and know that I took
That's
it.
like-
And you're not gonna be able to replicate that picture again. It's not like they're not gonna be able to take that same picture again,
Yeah.
and two, they're not gonna be able to take a picture of something else and also have that same thing. Like I can look at pictures, and I've looked at enough of Mikey's pictures now that if you put out 100 pictures in front of me, I could tell you which ones were probably Mikey's within a degree of like relative, like.
Yeah, like if
With
you-
certainty,
you-
just because
you-
like you get that same with Carlo. Like if you showed me one of Carlo's videos, like I could be like, oh,
you
that
would know,
like,
you know
Carlo
my
had
style.
something to do
But
with
you
this.
could send me and Carlo out to 30th and Walnut and say your subject is Liberty One Tower. You have to use this lens at 200 millimeters, and this is your aperture. We're still gonna get different pictures. Like even if you send them to the exact same location with the same camera settings and same level of equipment, no matter what, like you're still gonna cook your own shot up, and it's gonna be your own thing.
So why do people? They just want to get their name out there more for the watermark.
I think it's that because what do you do when you get engaged? You put it on Facebook and Instagram. To me, that's like jamming it down their
That's
throat.
tacky.
It's
It's tacky as fuck.
It's also like you're probably gonna print this picture and hang it up in your house.
well, that's like we don't.
I don't need that to. I
We
don't
don't
need that
believe
to be there.
we don't do street signs on our projects. Like you know how a lot of builders they'll have like the sign out by the mailbox.
Okay.
And some builders will put like a really, really nice sign
like,
out there.
hey,
It's
like-
hey, we're building here, motherfuckers.
Right,
Like
right.
we're here.
Yeah.
Like the most we'll do is we have like this pirate flag that will fly from like a window in the house or anything like that. We had it on the front of a house, but it doesn't say like our name on it. It's just the logo. I like other than like receiving deliveries to a project, like having that sign out there is just like
It's like you're
it's like
stealing free advertising.
sometimes I feel like I'm bringing the neighborhood down. Like I'm
Yeah.
like we're in these nice. If we're in a neighborhood, it's usually a really nice neighborhood, and it's like I don't. Like, people don't want to drive down the street and
Yeah,
just
but it
see our
might
sign.
But it might only be like 6 people that drive by, and like 3 of them be like, "Oh, honey, did you see Stacy's getting their kitchen done?"
Yeah,
And
but
maybe we
with,
should call those
with
guys.
the advent of like Instagram, like Karen already knows Stacy's like prepping for that because Karen won't shut up about it on Instagram, and she's posting pictures of like, our
all the
Yeah.
all the before shots.
and then like our pictures on social media are getting shared around. Like if you look at our pictures, like you're probably the same way. Like we don't look at the likes. We look at the number of like saves and sends.
yeah, that's the new
and, like,
wave right now.
I noticed the ones like if you get customers that are super amped up into like a specific like part of a project, like we'll take a picture of like something they're real happy about. The sends will be like right away. We'll be like they sent it
she
to their
sent that out to her
whole
friends.
family.
Yo, here, check this out.
Dude's amped.
I
So, like,
like
and that's what I
looking at
look
those
forward to.
analytics.
I think it's also to our customers too, because our customers do a lot of research to figure out who the right builder for them is going to be. And if their neighbor just gets it off the sign but doesn't like go through the like, think about that too. If you see the sign, you call them. You're like, "Hey, you're building one of my neighbor's houses." That neighbor that they're building for is like, "Yo, like, don't I get the credit for like giving you like my builder to like let you use?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, we much prefer
Like a referral.
It's
the
like a
word of
referral
mouth
because
kind of-
they're gonna get like the credit. It's gonna be like, all right, like I helped you out.
It's
like
a
with-
referral.
It's a
yeah.
referral. Like I
that's,
helped.
That's
you.
something I consider to do, like to set up a referral plan, because it's so easy. Like I try to not to like jam business down people's throats on Instagram. I try to keep it like tasteful for what I post. Show everybody like all the different kinds of stuff that I do.
It speaks for itself. Though.
Yes, I want it to speak for itself. And as soon as I got into photography, I feel like my voice went away in a good way though. Like I just like kind of shut up and on Instagram and I just post what I'm doing. I really don't say much and just like show people. Yeah.
I wish I was like that.
Product. We have different products, so you being loud may not necessarily be a bad thing.
No, but
I mean,
saying,
well,
like,
being loud is like our product now.
But if you do good work, quality product work, you will get the referrals without asking for the referrals.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's a matter of people that have referral programs, I also kind of feel like are kind of tacky.
Yeah.
It's like, look,
I think you should have like a street referral program, like something that's just like not written down.
No, yeah, here.
Like that's kind of how we are. Like when people take care of us or we take care of them, like sometimes sometimes there's money involved, sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's lunch, sometimes it's like a couple lunches, sometimes it's like, we take pictures for you, like, or like we'll take pictures like of our work, and like the electrician will be like, hey, can we get those pictures? And
everybody
we'll be like, sure.
eats,
Like, it's like
you got to look at what you send back to them.
good product. That's all it is. Just produce a good quality product. As long as you do that and you stay to who you are, you'll do business.
And that's like
there's
a good
especially
response.
in this part of the country, it feels like there's so many people that scam and hustle. I think the closer you get like to the mega cities, the more that goes on, right?
Is it like the cities? Because like you've lived in a lot more places than I have.
Yeah.
So like I kind of feel like anecdotally from what I've heard, and then like I've traveled a lot, it feels like it's like this like little northeast corridor.
Whatever it
It's
is.
like Philadelphia. It's like Washington, D.C., curving back to Baltimore, Philly, New York. It has this like little edge to it. Like, and when I go down south or like to Texas or anything,
It's a little lighter.
it just like
I feel
Ariel, like my wife,
we're all hustlers.
she says hi. Like we'll be walking down the street, hi. She'll be like, oh, hello, good morning. Like, good morning. And people will look at her like, the fuck?
Like one of my first trips to New York City, I think I was like 2 or 3.
Where did you grow up, by the way?
Montana.
Okay, all right, because I know where you grew up. You
I
said
went
you
to
lived
school in
a
North
couple
Carolina,
places.
so I go to New York City.
So you've been around.
And I'm walking down. I was just walking New York. I'd never been there. A couple guys. We were just walking around. Like these guys came out to hustle me, and like I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought they're selling CDs.
Nice.
Their CD.
Mixtapes, my guys.
Mixtape, dude.
They're out there pushing
That's
them.
what I'm saying. The mixtape guys come up and they start talking. I was like, oh, cool. These guys have an interest in me. They're talking to me. I was like, this is awesome. And then like, hey, man, what's your name? I was like, yeah, man, my name's John. They're like, oh, like this CD's for John. They wrote my name on it. And I was like, yo, like thanks for the CD. They're like, yeah, that'll be $100 or like $40, whatever. I was like, oh, I wasn't gonna buy it. I was like, yeah, but I wrote your name on it already. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna buy it? Like, just donate to us. Like, help us out. Help us young artists out.
Oh,
So like,
dude,
I think I gave him like
such a
20 or
trap.
$30. Like, put the CD in. It's fucking blank. There ain't shit on it. Like, there's nothing on the CD.
Dude, there's so many hustles.
But they were so fucking good at it.
I know, and you're like, oh, I guess I owe you this money.
I didn't
already.
know I was hustled until I put that CD in the CD player and it didn't play.
Yeah.
Because they're like, just give us a donation to help us out where you knew and whatever. So it's just, you never found that where I grew up, ever.
No.
And so
It's always like nice
I think
courtesy.
when you come, it's like someone asked what one of my competitive advantages is like in this area. And I think it's because I'm not from this area, right? Like people are used to people from the area and they're very skeptical. But I come from a place where it's I'm able to talk to people and like get them to like trust into us and what we do just based on like who I am.
Yeah, like by your
Dude,
mannerisms.
you should see this guy's frustration when like we've been in situations where we've been like negotiating deals or like property or things, and John just wants to like we're dealing with a realtor. John's just like, dude, just take us to your buyer, or like, and like let's just shake hands and just do like let's meet face to face and shake hands.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Look, I
no,
just wanna meet the
that's
guy.
that's not how it works. And John's just like, dude, like why can't we just like
I just wanna say
we
hi.
could work this out? Like we could probably figure this out by lunch if we just. I say
so
what
it's
I
just-
say. You feel like it's like no, we got to do this
people
dance.
gravitate to that, and
Yeah.
it develops good
a little
client
more genuine.
relationships.
Yeah.
It develops good friendships. You get genuine friendships, and it's just because I'm not from here is probably the best advantage I have. I think if I went and did the same thing back in Montana, it would be different, right? Then like I'm the same as everybody else in Montana, but
And
it's-
then you would bring me back to Montana, and I would shark everybody
Yeah,
out
yeah,
because
yeah.
That's what I mean. Just young
I'd be
guy.
selling blank CDs, empty houses.
Empty houses.
Just load it up with granite.
That's the name of this podcast. Do you blank CDs, empty houses?
Do you think it's because like in the East Coast everything is worth a lot more? Like when you go to the South, like shit is more lax because people aren't like there's not a lot of hustle and bustle.
No, I think it's more deep seated than that. I think it's like the culture in this region of the United States. Like you have like the 13 original colonies, and industrialization hit those areas sooner, or if in fact at all, like some areas just never got that. Especially in the South, like you just never got that like that boom and that hustle. So like people went from like oh, I'm going to go work 6 hours a day. The crops are good for today. I'm going to go, chill and like do this, to being like, hey, we need people in the factory. We need so many people. Pull your kid out of school. Who cares if he doesn't have shoes on? We need him in the factory. How old are you? You're 8. You can run this machine. So like that like urge and energy to like wake up and just get to work came from that, as well as like the coal mining culture of like, so like coal mining on the Appalachian kind of like put a fence that in.
I think you just have the density and so many other people. You have so many,
and now it's competition.
Now it's just competition.
Yeah,
it's almost feeding on itself, because down south they have farms and they do lots of things down south now. But like before, it was agriculture. But
pace was always.
But they would work sun up to sundown, but they always had to work all day, and so it wasn't like, if I don't put in all this, I'm not going to get this. It's like, I know what I need to put in to produce the crops. And so they go about like, it was very methodical, right? Because you weren't dealing with immediate things. So I don't know, like that.
And then if you want to get further into it, you got World War II comes along, and everybody comes back from World War II, and like materialism takes over.
Yeah.
So like that whole hustle and bustle, everybody already had that energy to like hustle in this area, and now people hustle and they're like, what are we hustling for?
Havertown
Stuff.
They made Havertown.
So whatever.
Yeah, I'm really interested about the pace, because the pace is definitely different across the country.
Dude, look at,
and it's so strange.
New York versus LA. Times like how you like do stuff like with like pace.
Yeah, but
New York is fast. LA is like this.
You go down like,
yeah, we're on our way.
Yeah,
let's go.
But take that down to like South Carolina and North Carolina, away from the cities. That pace is like just that, how they drink tea. It's just slow.
Dude, I remember I went to Tennessee when I was a kid to visit like my aunt, for lack of a better description, and we were driving, and like my uncle was driving, and like we were pulling up to a traffic light, and we were so fucking far away from the traffic light, but the light turned red. You let off the gas.
He just rolled through?
And no, and we were like cruising up to the traffic light. We were legit a half a mile away from the traffic light.
But it'll turn
and he
green
literally we were doing like 15 miles an hour. Just like this. And dude, we get like 150 yards from the traffic light, turns green, he starts stepping on it real slow. Like,
dude, they do that.
And he does not care. That. He just like, he's just like, and he didn't even accelerate back up real fast. It was like real slow. And I'm looking at this dude in the side of his head, and I'm like maybe 9, right?
They're like, did you just do that?
Dude, I'm literally thinking, like, and I remember it because like I remember like a few days later, I was like talking to my dad on the phone, and he was like, wherever he was working, and he was like, well, what's the lake down there? I was like, dude, it was like slow as shit, dude. Like Uncle Chuck stops at green lights. Like my dad started laughing because he spent time down south for like work and stuff, and he's like, dude, he's like, yeah, it's different down there, man. And I remember being such a young kid being like, what do you mean? And that was like the first time that I took on that. I was like, dude, you draw this. I just like understood that like the more south you got, like the slower things got until you got to Miami.
Yeah, it speeds up.
And then one time I was in Port Chester, New York, working at a golf club.
That sounds very suburban, not city, right?
It was north of New York City. It was near like Rye, but Port Chester was, it was much more poor than like Rye. And I took my car in to get done. I had a Buick LeSabre from college, gas mileage.
LeSabre,
the Huey Buey, as my wife called it.
What did she call it?
The Huey Buey. It was fucking.
The Huey Buey. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah. And so I take my car in to like get the oil change and whatever, and I get it back, and I'm like, dude, this thing ain't driving right. And the caddy master's like, dude, they fucking stripped your car out. Like, you got different parts in there now, though. So he takes it back. He's like, guys, put the fucking parts back in. So that was the second time I got hustled.
I don't know if I've ever
I went to a random shop. I was like, hey, I need my oil changed. And they're like, bring it on in.
Yeah, dude, we got catalytic converters over here.
Fucking hilarious.
Dude, that's so funny.
Street hustles.
What made you like you went from like the like Mikey's Fine Shines photography into just taking pictures a lot after you came back from like something switched with you where you just like I noticed you were just like you were just shooting.
On go.
You like your camera was just like bah, 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 bah. Everywhere you were going, like the camera was taking pictures.
Yeah, I just
Like what happened?
when did it change? I don't know. I did it for like the first year. Like dude, the same thing like that happened. Like I just made it look good. Like with fine shines, like my first car was a Bentley, so it looked good. So I was like, all right, going into this business, I started it to do real estate photography. I just looked at it as a hustle. I didn't think of it as like an art form. Like, all right, I'm going to get into photography. I was
So I'm gonna grab a couple bucks.
yeah, I was like, all right, I'm going to make some money. I know some realtors. I can take some decent looking pictures of houses. And like, I went into all these model houses and took pictures of the nice looking houses and built a website from there. So then like I started marketing.
Without being hired, you just went into somebody's.
Oh, no, the model houses.
yeah,
Like, you know, when they build a new neighborhood and they were all staged and looked good. And I would just walk in there and I'd be like, they're like, hi, how's it going? And I was like, I have like all this gear on me. they're like, can we help you? It's like a Sunday and an open house. I'm like, oh, no, I'm just checking it out. I live down the street. And they're like, okay. And like, I would just, I sniped the whole house and I did like 3 of them. And I made a website from there and I just started cold calling and marketing. And then like, this is like a funny thing too. That's why I feel like no matter what I get into, I could do really great with it because my first customer was Joe Bograd. And if you're like in Bucks County, you know who Joe Bograd is. Like his billboards are everywhere. And he sent me into this like big ass house to do a job. And I did it and they weren't great. So yeah, it was literally my first house. And he had somebody that he was already working with and he kind of just like gave me a shot because he texted me at like noon and was like, hey, can you go at 2:00? And I'm like, yeah. And I went and it was cool, like what you said, like somebody who's big in the game, and then they give you an opportunity. Like, all right, he said they weren't bad. He's like, but I have a guy that I, charge this much or take this much of a charge for, and he does 5 houses a week for me. I'm like, all right, cool. When he quits or moves to Alaska, let me know.
He still hasn't moved.
No, still killing it.
Still there.
Damn.
But no, that was yeah, that was my main entry with photography, and then I think I started bringing my camera into the restaurant. Starting to take pictures of people, food, products, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I could go a little more commercial with this. Like, what else can I do? And there's so many subjects you could shoot in photography. It's crazy. The most I did over the quarantine, I would say graduation photos. I did the most of. And then I got into doing jewelry photography. I've been working with this jeweler out in Villanova and like just doing the product shots for his website. And that is so time consuming. Jewelry photography is one of the hardest forms of editing, I would say. Like you asked me earlier, is there anything I don't want to do? Something I don't want to do instead of some weird shit. You probably can't pay me enough to come out and do it. Like OnlyFans, no thanks. Not shooting. Not shooting.
Have people approached you for that?
I've had a couple, yeah.
Damn.
and dude, I literally came with a fucking professional ass rate. She was like, okay, I need like 2 videos done. I want to shoot. Or she was like, I want to shoot like a series of like 1-minute videos and then like a bunch of photos in like different outfits. And I like hit her with a heavy price. I'm like, all right, it's going to be like 3 hours probably to do everything. And she's like, oh, that's kind of steep right now. I'm like, well, we got to get your content looking good if you want to make some money.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
dude,
I'll
started
get back
somewhere.
to you.
yeah, seriously, you want the girls looking good.
Yeah, it's something that I
A lot
got.
of close-ups going on.
No,
there.
Yes.
I had one of my boys' girlfriends hit me up and ask to do lingerie photos. And I was like, no,
Dude,
absolutely not.
That's something I could never do either.
I got a
Yeah,
great.
it's like your
I'm
homie's
good.
girl. I'm like, no, sorry. And then it's like,
Oh damn, Gilmar.
they're thinking about it.
What are
They're
those
like,
called?
I'm good.
boudoir?
Boudoir.
Boudoir photography.
Yeah.
Our neighbor had that done.
Boudoir.
And she tried
Did you
to
see
hide
the red light from like outside
No,
your
no,
house
no.
in their window?
It's so funny. We're all out on the street. It was a fucking nice day out. It was like 70 degrees, so there's like 20 people outside. And our neighbor, one of their sisters, a photographer, but the car was parked there. And one of the neighbors like, oh, like where's this person at? And they're like, oh, she's just around. And all of a sudden we see her like coming out of the other house with all of her camera gear. And we're like, huh? But then the person comes out and she has full makeup on.
Full glam.
But full glam, like beautiful glam, but like sweats. And it's like, dude, that just happened. One of the neighbors called her out on it on the spot, and she turned bright fucking red.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was fucking.
Dude, those shoots are no joke.
It's a job also. Like,
Yeah.
there are photographers who go and they do that shit every day. And
Yeah.
like, it's not that I don't feel comfortable doing it. To me, bro, like I was just at a party that got like really weird towards the end of the party, and this is like this goes back to the part of the wedding where you're like, all right, everybody's too fucked up. You don't need to take pictures anymore.
Yeah.
we went so far past that place, and like I got to deliver the album, and she got like a separate album. I'm like, here, this is for everybody else, and this is for you. She's like, thank you so much. But like, that's what you got to do. You got to just be professional about it. I just look into it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, just come in, do this job, take my money, and just
I guess
deliver
part of a
them their
good
stuff.
photographer is also being anonymous, or like anonymous on like what.
I mean, you
Or
shoot
not
you
creepy.
you
What-
shoot
yeah, you-
some pretty good looking girls though.
For sure, you got to maintain that
With regular,
professionalism,
yeah,
though.
with regularity. So like, there has to be, you have to be doing something right there. If like,
Be a gentleman and be
Yeah.
a professional. That's the always like mentality I have with
Yeah.
like working with like beautiful women like that. You just gotta just behave yourself.
awkward silence. There you go.
All three of us were sitting there like, huh.
No,
to be a
it's
photographer.
It's your reputation.
Yeah.
It takes years to build your reputation, and it
Probably
takes
in that business,
13
too.
seconds to ruin it.
That's how long for you?
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. That was such a setup, dude. On my own part, I like laid you up the alley.
Dude, I just dunked it through your face. No, so what made you like? How'd you get into doing the nightclub shoots?
I went to this party on a Sunday. Wow, how did I end up at this party? I didn't know anybody in the city at this point. This was like 3 years ago. And who did I just meet? There was this artist that I met who was like a beginning artist guy that I found through Instagram, and I saw that he was recording in a studio, and I really wanted to go get pictures of that. Like, you know, when you're starting, you do a lot of free shit. I did a lot of free houses, a lot of free chicks, a lot of free artists, sports, a lot of stuff, because same with jewelry too. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta have that portfolio to present to somebody when you want to go after that genre.
So you gave it up a decent amount, and so like you would go to the nightclubs and then take pictures the same way you took pictures of like that model house.
I went to this party. This artist was like, yo, there's this party on a Sunday. It's a tradesman's, like, you should come through. And I think I only knew the door guy there from like some weird other, like he worked at like a Foot Locker or something. And I like knew this guy. And I was like, oh, you work here? He's like, yeah, I like do that during the day. And then like I'm a bouncer at night. And I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, but I'm working this day party. I'm here for like Vesper or whoever. Like, they have people here. I was like, oh, Vesper's like pretty lit. They're one of the cool clubs in the city. I was like, I want to do all their social media content, because I looked at it and like it looked like there had been photographers there, but like not enough. Because I feel like a nightclub is something that should definitely be properly marketed, as far as like to try and like draw people in.
You have to showcase the energy that happens at nighttime.
Exactly. It's a very
Because
hard
people
to
can't
do.
see in there.
It's a very unique representation. Like, food photography is like, oh, it's a juicy burger. Like, I'm gonna go try that thing. Like a nightclub, you kind of gotta like shoot it the right way. So I just asked to like meet this one dude who worked at Vesper, and kind of just like introduce myself to him, gave him a business card, like exchanged Instagrams, and he was like, yeah, like come in, check it out. And like, I actually got paid for the first one. I didn't have any experience with it, but I guess he asked me if I ever did like events and stuff. No, I did. My boy Mike Cartel was DJing at Bungalow. Like, this was like the first summer I was like into photography, and he was one of the guys who was like, yeah, come. So I got to get like good sample like DJ pictures, and like it was a beach club outside during the day, so it was like a different energy than a nightclub. But I told him I did event photography, and I did like 4 shoots a weekend for him for like 2 summers in a row. It was awesome. Do like the day parties and the night parties, and then the next day go to the pool and then hang for like the night party too. It was very key to networking and establishing myself in the city, for sure, because I didn't know anybody in the city.
Yeah, so you basically just rolled up and said, and just started making conversation and introduce yourself.
Yes, nobody like really thought to go into a club and be like their photographer to do it like all the time to supply their social media, because I don't know. Once I got into doing it, it was cool because you meet everybody you should meet in the city. It's everybody who's out having a good time. They're all probably networking, spending money, just like living their lives. It's like people you want to be around, successful people. So I feel like I got to meet a lot of important people in the city through the nightlife scene, where like you just exchange contacts and then you become friends because you're almost partying with them so often. That's what I feel like. People are like, oh, when are you going to party with us? Like, take a shot. Like, hit this blunt. I was like, no, dude, I'm like here to work. Like, it doesn't, it
Right. You
doesn't
can't
look
break,
good.
You can't break that.
you can't have a camera in your hand and a drink in the other hand.
Yeah.
That's what
Doesn't
I
look good.
can. My picture just might be a little sideways. But I, no, as far as like working in nightclubs, like never partake in activities going on in the club. I feel like I'm kind of like a silent sniper. Make my way through, and like there's people that I do know that I do acknowledge, and like they'll want me to take their picture, but a lot of times people in the nightclub might not want you to be taken. A
What's the
picture.
rule on that? You take photos in a nightclub, and do you have to get everyone to sign off, or they sign off when they go through like the door?
Sign offs when they go
think
through the door.
It's when you walk into their place, but people have handled it really poorly. Like, I'll try and like sense out a vibe. Like, I'll walk up to a table and have my camera in my hand, and I'm by myself. It's obviously I'm the photographer,
Right.
and I'll like head nod somebody, or I'll just like hold my camera and point to it, and like I either get to like get in, and like everybody wants their picture taken because they're all lit and they're having a great time, and then I'll be like, no fucking pictures, and I'm like, all right, like I'll never forget
That guy
this.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
No, dude, yeah, he's like, he shouldn't be there. I'll never forget this one night I'm at Noto, and like all these chicks, I see the one that I knew, and it was like such a great shot, dude. It was like the best table in the club, sick background, like 6 beautiful chicks in a line, like table filled with bottles, and I'm like, they're all scooching in, I'm going to get the shot, and then like the guy who's paying for the table like leans in, he's like, no, get the fuck out of here, and he just like gave him like that, and security grabbed me, and they're like, no. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you missed your shot. I mean, they're in there spending thousands of dollars, and that's why I feel with bottle service. When you pay for bottle service in a club, you're not spending $300 on a bottle of Grey Goose. You're paying to sit in that club with your own utilities. You have your own full bar with all your juice and all your fruit and your cups to fuel your guests, and you're not going up to a bar. You're not fighting through a dance floor. I basically feel like you own real estate in the club. You have a seat in the club. Who else has a seat in the club? You don't have a seat in general admission. You're getting bumped into and somebody's spilling shit on you.
Where did you get that photo of Pop Smoke? I saw that you had like a couple photos of celebrities on there. Like,
That was at
artists.
Noto. I was definitely Vesper's photographer for a while, but then Noto had like a really cool after concert party venue that any hip hop artist that came into town and performed, they would always get them to come to the club for an after party appearance. And sometimes they would perform, sometimes they
You
wouldn't.
think they paid him? And like
Oh,
that's how they
shit,
got him?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah, that's how that
That's
works.
that's how they get there. Yeah, they pay them because guess what? Like the first one I went to was 21 Savage. He did not even get on the microphone. He didn't perform, nothing. But I was so hyped to be there because that was like my first rapper picture. It was 21 Savage.
He was there.
Yeah, and he's a savage. But that was like my first taste of people like seeing the work and be like, oh shit, like where was that? I'd be like, oh, like I shot at this nightclub. But that was like one where you had to like, I had to grease my way in the door. I was like, yo, bro, like I saw you got this party going on. Like, you think I could come through and get some pictures? I was like brand new into it. You kind of have to do that.
Dude, I respect your level of like ingenuity when it comes to like problem solving people. Like when you like a lot of like what
Finesser.
yeah, like a lot of like what your obstacles that you've like explained, it just seems like you're like, all right, I need to get to this spot. Let me identify who can put me there and like smile and shake their hand.
Yeah,
And be
yo,
like, hey, like what's up? I'm Mikey.
Like I got a challenge this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to Atlanta, right?
Ooh.
Hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
All-Star weekend?
Oh, All-Star Weekend. I got some shit lined
Yo,
up.
let's go.
Yo, dude, there's some thoughts in that city.
I know. Watch out. I got some stuff lined up for the weekend, but it's my first time going to Atlanta, and it's like it's not like Miami where like I know I can go, I know I can get into like Philly, like you know people at the door, you're just gonna like breeze right
Buy
by.
your way in,
Like
yeah.
all these things at like Noto and like all the clubs, like dude, it's so cool to go in there and like you see a line of people waiting to get into this venue, and you're just like, yo, what's good? And I like pull the gate over for you, and you're just in there. And people look at you. I'm like, what the fuck?
What does that guy do?
Yeah, I'm
What's he
like
with the camera
I'm
bag?
like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm not here to party. I'm here to just
Yeah.
take pictures.
It's Atlanta.
Yeah, so go into Atlanta, and it's just gonna be cool. Like you said, like there's certain, like I'm gonna be booked, but then I'm also gonna be trying to hustle too. And it's like, all right, am I gonna be able to get into these clubs or not?
What's All-Star Weekend for me and maybe the audience?
NBA All-Star Weekend.
Oh, NBA. All-Star.
NBA. Sorry, yeah, we.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. To me, if it's just All-Star weekend,
It's
I'm
All-Star-
like, I
All-Star
know it
weekend,
is.
it's like all the NBAs, they come in and all the girls from like the NBA world also come into the city. So like you could probably just like grab a thing of popcorn and go to the airport and just sit there and like just watch. Cause like
It's like one of those like star-studded weekends, like
Yeah.
not the level of Super Bowl because of like fan base. Like people love football in this country. Like the Super Bowl is like a holiday. It looks like.
yeah.
The NBA All-Star Weekend is like level of hype for me to go and work and network and get that exposure in front of that kind of clientele. Great.
Yeah,
It's like, but it's like the Super
You
Bowl's
could
so
take that one
big.
photo.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a small Super Bowl. That like it's not bad that it's small. It's going to be easier to like get further with it.
My
Yes, exactly. As far as like getting into the right spot.
my
yeah.
brother-in-law went to school at La Salle with the guy that shoots Ben Simmons full time.
Oh,
Okay.
Ace Subers.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
super.
yeah.
He went to
He's
school with
dirty.
him. Yeah, he's good.
He's really good.
He's funny because
He's
like
locked in.
yeah, yeah.
That's a steady job doing something really, really cool.
But he travels with them 24/7 everywhere they go.
Oh,
and
fuck.
then he also has, I think he also has a contract with the Sixers when they're playing during the season.
He's a photographer.
He's a photographer for the Sixers, but then outside of that, he's for Ben Simmons. Like,
yeah,
the
I
whole
just
time.
started following him. He takes
He's
some
good.
really good photos. That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
you're locked in on that though.
Would you ever do something like that? Like get
Money's
contracted
gotta
to
be
one
right.
thing?
He's got a ceiling. I don't have a ceiling.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like that's probably a really, really good job, but you also have like a cap. Like, all right, you work for us for 365 days, you make this much money. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
I could
pretty
do
sure it's
that
probably
in the
like a
first quarter.
flat rate. Like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's there's probably not a whole lot of incentive, but I did notice he has a lot better sneakers now. So
Yeah,
he can pay
they
pretty.
post them up on League Fits and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's like some Instagram page that posts all the.
Dude, what's next for Mikey Nappz? You got the website going.
the website's good. The print store was great. I was like really shocked when I saw how much I did in sales after I launched the campaign for the print store. It was very, very cool.
Explain to what people are listening, like what the print store
Print
is.
store is like a culmination of 3 years worth of photo taking and taking like my best pictures and finally organizing them into each city and like category. Dude, it took me so long, and then I like counted how many photos I went through, and it was like 90,000 pictures to go through.
Oh, wow.
Like
Damn.
edited and done photos, like from, like I said, like going to different countries and stuff like that, and just picking the ones that when I was organizing them, I called it look worthy, that like somebody like actually wants to look at. So I broke that down, put it in different categories, and made it accessible for people to buy, whether they want a canvas or a frame or a metal print in any photo on the website in any style or dimension.
Wow.
Do you like if we get one for the office here? Like, would you sign it for us?
Yeah, Tom just bought a picture and he made me come back and sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have I wonder what picture you have in mind that would look really good in here.
There's
Where are we gonna put it?
there's a couple I have an eye on.
What's your website?
Yeah, what's your site?
So it's ran by this company called Dark Room Tech. It sounds like so scary.
Definitely.
It's I think it's darkroom.mikeynaps.tech.
Are darkrooms a thing of the past, or do people still use them?
I don't think anybody develops film right now except for like real hobby photographers, or if you own a print store that does it. Like I like shooting film. Like I'll do like disposable rolls sometimes, and I bring them to the guy, and he has to do it in like a certain place in the store to do it.
It's probably 2 P's in Nappz.
Oh,
The spelling.
You always
is
watch
weird.
movies where the photographer like takes a picture of a girl
oh, you come right
or a
on.
woman,
Yeah, it's on
takes
the
a
link
picture, and
online
then
on
they
Instagram.
go back to his place and he gets it developed, like, and they wait for it to get developed and stuff. But it's probably like listening to
Are you talking about a porno?
No, film.
no film,
Film.
movie.
Film
Film
photography.
film is cooler than digital. If I'm going out, like you said, like I bring my camera everywhere. If I'm actually going out to like see people and hang out and not work, I will have a disposable camera in my pocket.
But you can get high quality photos out of that disposable
Oh,
camera
it's so
if you know
sick.
how to.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to.
Who are those pictures on your Instagram for those blue ones? Are those for Romina and
Yes. No. Actually, that's her neighbor. Actually, that is who that job came
the
from.
the funny thing about those girls? They hit me up 4 years ago, trying to sell me staging services, and I was like, "What?" Like they just did not look like they had anything together. And then like I saw like fast forward, like I saw that you took pictures of her like modeling. And then I was like, that
And
girl
then-
looks
and then-
really familiar from somewhere. And then like I clicked through, and then like I was like, whatever. And then like a couple weeks later, I saw that you had taken a picture of something they had done in terms of staging, and I'm like, oh man, small world, and like all from Philly.
I know.
It's
When'd
like
you go to Cuba?
I went to Cuba in November of 2019.
Is that after they opened?
It was right after.
Back up? I heard it's beautiful there.
Dude, it was the sickest trip of my lifetime.
They
That
say
was
it's beautiful. They do say it's like going back in time a little bit.
It was literally like getting in a plane and going back to the 50s, because not only is the architecture and all the cars there like super old and outdated, but also they all look so new. Like you're driving in a car that's like a 58 Chevy Impala or whatever it is, and
It's
the
brand new.
paint job is so fresh and clean on it. Like they just keep restoring things. They they don't import anything.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, they
to, like,
couldn't import anything for a
Yeah,
while, right?
yeah.
Like so,
but
whatever
everything was so cheap.
whatever they
there.
had.
do you have the picture of this like cigar rolling on here at all?
Maybe in the highlights.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I have it on the website. No, not for sale. Maybe somebody would want to buy that. I should reconsider.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
You had a couple. I remember you had
That'd
a
be
couple
pretty
good
cool.
pictures of like the guys rolling the cigars.
Yeah, it was cool. We went
That was
to like
cool. That was cool to see.
It was a farm, like this huge property where they made cigars, sugarcane, and coffee, and like rode horses from each farm. And I'm like on a horse, and like there's nothing but mountains and beautiful skies and green grass for like miles. And like you do appreciate the beauty and nostalgia of it, but then at one point I'm like, I'm so fucking far from my house right now. I'm so far from the U.S. It felt like.
But that's not many people experience that.
No, and that's what I said about like more expensive photos. Like, not everybody's gonna.
I've only been out of the country, like Europe. I went once, and then I went to Dominican Republic a couple times. But that's it. Like I'm not a traveler. But I think if I went to like Cuba, where things are a little more, grayish on the rules or whatever, I think that's a feeling that people get addicted to. Like it's like.
What do you mean grayish on the rules?
Well, like,
it's not like the Wild West down there.
it's
There's
not
like,
like, wow, how'd you get there?
You get in trouble or make like you do something in another country. Like usually there's a pretty solid, U.S. embassy or whatever to figure it out. But like,
yeah, I know. Somebody told me they're like, don't smoke weed in Cuba, and I was like, why? And they're like, you get locked up like big time for that. And then I remember like seeing this one guy, like we're just like walking around. And this one guy comes up to me, and he's got a weed leaf tattooed on his arm, and like real intense. He looks at me, he's like "Mota," and like tapped on his arm, and I was like, "No, I'm good, thanks." And yeah, nobody there was like smoking weed. Like maybe in like different countries or even around like the U.S., you like smell weed being smoked. Like a majority of the places you go now, I feel like you go and do that down there, like that's like having like a
I know
narcotic on you.
in Philadelphia now, it's like.
it's everywhere.
It's
can't-
decriminalized. It's decriminalized.
Well, I mean, for the last couple of years, like, I mean, I haven't lived in the city for 4 years or so, and I remember at a certain point, maybe 6 years ago, you would go out and like you couldn't go out and not smell weed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the times are changing.
Yeah.
You definitely get a sense of adventure though, like when you go out to another country or whatever. But
your experience, it's
like, would you-
experience. It's new stuff.
where do you want? You said like when it opens back up, you want to go maybe back to Italy. But then do you have like a list of places you want to go?
Safari.
I'm going to safari.
It's like a
Safari.
legit
Like,
safari.
like a fake safari when it's a fence of like 10,000.
I
like,
made it
acres.
look like I went to a safari because I went to the zoo and I used like a 400 millimeter lens, so it's just a zebra. You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't know where you're at. I could like lie and be like, "Oh yeah, this is from the Sahara."
The safaris in Africa are super sad.
Why?
They are because most of
You
them,
have to pay to go to like you have to pay big bucks to go on a safari. If you
Like
go to
they
like
drive you around
if you go to a controlled safari,
it's
really
like
just
Disney
like the older
World,
animals
but
and stuff
bigger.
like that. Yeah.
with live animals.
So like my buddy went and did a hunt in Africa, and most of Africa is owned.
okay.
There's not a whole lot of public lands, and the public lands you can't hunt on. So when you hunt, you're hunting inside of 10,000 acres, which seems big, but then you think of all the animals within there, and they all have to figure out
Don't go to that
they're
place.
they're condensed into 10,000 acres, and for
Right.
them, they can't get out of the fence. So it's
They're
like
trapped.
they're
Oh, it's
trapped.
not like free range where you're saying
no,
like
most of Africa is not free range. Most of Africa is fenced, and it's a whole. And then, like once I found that out, because I used
There's
to.
more wild zebras in Texas than
It
there are
didn't
in Africa.
seem like hunting there was a thing of like population control of the animals. It was definitely a business.
yeah.
Because I always thought like people always
Poachers.
go there and try to make it more. They try to justify it by saying like you got to kill the older giraffes before it beats up the younger giraffes. It's like, well, what happened before there were hunters? Like the older giraffe would beat up until like he died because the other younger giraffes
Yeah,
killed him.
it's
But
different
but
circle
to
of
find
events.
out that they're captive and that you're just basically hunting like you are in America to me kind of took like some of that nostalgia, like that excitement out of it.
I want to shoot them with my camera, not anything else.
I know, but like you could probably.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with the? How did we get
No,
from
no, I know.
photography to
No,
like poaching?
but like if you went on
animals?
like a safari in Africa, but like did it where you somehow
Saying my
embedded.
expectations might be like a little disappointing.
That's what I'm saying.
No, and
If
I'm
you go on, like,
saying
public-
just make sure you find the wild guys and just go out in the
in
wild.
the wild, like the uncontrolled, unfenced part of Africa, which you can probably do because you're shooting with a camera, not a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of Africa's
Even though
fenced.
sometimes I feel like I like drive around and take pictures, and like I hope that people never think it's a gun, and I'm like taking pictures because you might like freak people out at night. Like I'm like sitting out my window,
flash
like,
of light.
Yeah, and they're like, "What is this guy doing?" I wish that I had a
FBI.
sign. Well, yeah, because there's so many times where I post up in like really weird spots, like and just take pictures. Where I wish someone like from afar is probably looking at me, and they're like, "Who's this car? Like, what's this guy
Yeah,
doing?"
you're
out
also
here?
in a black car with black windows with like
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, what's this person doing?" And I just want to have a sign and just be like, "I'm just taking pictures." And they'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Not the
'Cause
FBI.
every time the cops have come up to me when even I'm in like a lot that I shouldn't be in, or like where I've drove around the thing to get to like the top floor of a parking garage, like the cops will come up and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking pictures," and they just don't give a shit. I've never had a problem with cops and like trespassing like that.
they're like, "Yeah, well, all right,
Yeah, all right. I have a hilarious
paperwork.
video.
whatever, you Instagrammers."
Yeah, we had like a 90-year-old security guard like roll up on us one time, and he was like, "What's going on up here?" And I was like, "We're taking pictures," and he's like, "Well, you're not allowed on the top floor, but I'll let you slide."
What's that dude that climbs to like in Philadelphia? He climbs to the top of the buildings and like hangs off the antennas and shit.
That's not
He's-
Philadelphia. I think
No,
that's
there's a
just
guy.
LA.
There's a
a
probably
dude in Philly that
guy.
does it.
Yeah.
I
There's
did
a-
that one time in Philly.
You've
in New
done
York.
that?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
You know the hotel that you when you're down in what's the fucking the piers? Where's that shit?
Penn's
at?
Landing.
Penn's Landing.
Yeah.
There's a hotel there. At the I don't know what it's called, but my friend and I
The
went.
Hyatt Suites or
The
something.
Hyatt
It might have been
Suites.
that one, but we went all the way up, and then I hung off of one of the letters. I have like photos of it because we were taking photos for a boot company in New York, and that
That's
actually
a
got
dope
us
shot.
the job. Yeah,
Yeah, see, that's
that got
what
us
you
the
have
job.
to do. Literally, when
Yeah.
I post pictures like that, I get shit on by so many people, and those are the people who truly care about me because they're like, "What the fuck are you doing up there?" Like, dude, my
Yeah.
sister, like, I've gotten screaming phone calls from her being like, "Are you out of your mind
This guy.
standing on there?"
Type this in HYTHA.
Cynthia.
Hytha.
Yeah.
He's good, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of Photoshop involved in this.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
know,
man.
but he does hang. Like he does.
He does. He's got some
used
hang
to.
time.
He definitely used to like go hang
I
on.
used
This
to
guy?
follow him before I
IA.
was a photographer.
HYTHA.CG.
Yeah, it's him.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
I followed him before I was a photographer, and I used to think his pictures were sick. And then I turned into a photographer, and I'm like, they're all Photoshop. They're like
Yeah.
dual images. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
a fan anymore. Photoshop's
They're
totally
pretty fucking
different.
cool though.
They
I
are.
don't know. They
It's
are, they're
cool, but it's like it's not. That's like Photoshop is in and of itself its own medium. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
It's-
So
yeah.
like a lot of his
But it should
pictures.
be though, because he even considers himself a digital artist. And I
Yeah,
look at
that's
that, and I'm like,
digital
that's-
art. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
that's talent. But like a lot
Some
of these
are
pictures,
pretty fucking cool.
Oh,
but
they're
a lot
dope. His
of
shit's
the
awesome.
pictures you're looking at are like 2 or more pictures at different
Wow,
times
they
of the
cap you like
day.
that?
Like you know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's
They did me
crazy.
like that.
It's not photography. It's
like that subway picture is insane.
digital art.
But
Yeah.
that
So he like puts 2 images and like cartoons it out. Is that what we're saying?
So like
wouldn't- I
he'll
wouldn't say
change the
any-
colors on one picture.
Look how cool that snow
bring-
one was. Like the street light.
Yeah, it's definitely it's firework.
So it's a real picture.
No, some of
but
them
he
don't
goes and-
look like dual images, but like that subway one, for example, is like where he took one shot and then he took another shot and he like put that part there and put that part there and then just like blended everything together.
so we'll make
like
yeah.
you ever look at like astrophotography, like where you look at stars, like people and you could like see galaxies in the sky, like
Yeah.
those are like multiple layers of sky pictures like stacked on. That's why it looks like so multiplied. But
So, like-
those pictures are crazy.
So it's just when you say photoshopped, is it like fake images? Like
It's
you took
like,
an image and put it into another
it's like
image?
customizing it.
Yeah.
It's like you could do whatever you want with Photoshop, like
Right.
literally anything.
That dude's good at that.
Like I
I respect it.
yeah, it's hard. It's really fucking hard.
It's
Like,
not. It's
so
not
time
like
consuming.
it's not respected, but in a way, he like this individual probably already mastered or got to a certain level in photography that he was happy with. That he was like, you know what, I'm gonna take like my photography to the next level, and I'm gonna start editing my pictures and like my visions so that they look
Creating
like I
my own
want
stuff.
them to.
Yeah.
Like there's
And that's
one
like a
here
whole
where he's,
nother
like,
thing.
standing on top of the thing, but like that's got to be scary as fuck.
Yeah, but that might not be real.
I get what you're saying.
Ew.
Come on, it's real. Look at him. He's up there now.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's trippy. But that shit is what gets people to look at you and be like, he fucking.
That's
loves
why I
But you
follow
could
that.
also
Yeah.
Photoshop that too. I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
but he'll definitely do stories like he used to go do a lot of that stuff, and like on his stories he used to get like in trouble with like the security guards because he'd be up there.
Yeah, you got to trespass.
Yeah.
There's a thing at Ben Franklin. Sorry,
Yeah, you do.
like you got to trespass because guess what? You're like that's where you get like your value in your work. Like I'm willing to go to this point where I might get in trouble, or if I slip, I'm gonna die.
You're gonna get a shot that nobody else has.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that picture that nobody has. Yeah, that's where like your value comes from. But you got to trespass.
Fucking, what's the worst gonna happen? Andrew's gonna come bail you out of jail. You know
I
what
had
mean?
I'll get you out.
I've had 2 experiences with doing that, being where I shouldn't be, and I got caught both for the same reason, and it was really, really interesting. I was at Ben Franklin Bridge, and I walked on the path. Like you can walk on Ben Franklin Bridge,
Right.
and the blue steel is like at your knee level, so
You could jump on that.
You could jump on that. Well, guess what? If you get to the side near the road, there's infrared sensors, and the cops come. And I've had that little, like, what kind of car is it? I want to say like a Mini Cooper that like fits
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
sidewalk. It's so small.
Yeah.
And like it's a high pitched siren, and you're like, oh God, I'm getting pulled over like by Pee Wee Herman right now. And he was like, were you up on that ledge? Take it, because by the time he got there, he rolled up and he saw me with my camera, and he's like, were you up on that ledge? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you're not allowed up there. And I was like, okay. He didn't do anything, like he wasn't enforcing any like punishment or whatever. I wasn't
Right.
gonna get a ticket, but I was like, yo, how'd you know I was up there? Like I'm cool with cops. Like I'll just tell them the truth. Like I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm trying to take a picture. And I was like, how'd you know I was up there? He's like, there's sensors there for like suicide, where like we get like called to
Oh,
it like
shit.
right away.
That's actually I was very hesitant to like what the fuck they put sensors there, but now that you say for that, it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
or not
all
even
right,
just
well,
that,
that's
dude.
kinda
It's also a huge liability too.
He's gonna
Like,
John's gonna audit these tax dollars.
good. Yeah, why are we
Suicide
paying for
bar.
sensors? All right, it's fine.
It makes sense.
But yeah, and then at Hard Rock too. I somehow
In Philly?
no Hard Rock in Atlantic City.
Oh.
Yeah, the Hard Rock.
Somehow drove up to the top floor. That's always my move. Top floor of a parking garage. You're gonna get the best view of any city, pretty much.
Gilmore knows he's nodding his head.
Yeah, I used to do it all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to. That's where you get the best vantage point, and
Yeah.
nothing's in your way. Also, and I go to like lean on the edge, and there was like a parking garage, like ground level. So it was like all these cars. It was so high, dude. It had to be like 20 stories up, and I was sitting on the ledge of the building, and my feet were just dangling. And then next thing you know, like all these cops rolled up, and I was like, holy shit. And they're like,
They thought you were jumping too.
they thought I was gonna jump, and I was like, no, I'm just
The
taking a
move.
picture. And like by the time like they all rolled up, like I heard the siren. I heard sirens, and I was like, oh, but it was, you know how you could tell like a cop car.
Oh, that's for me.
Right, you know.
Yeah,
the difference
yeah,
in a
it's like,
siren.
oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
no.
for us.
I'm like this. No, I was like, no, no,
You know.
Because the timing was exactly
It's like
perfect.
you just like you feel it and you're like there's a quiet and then there's like a and you're like, oh
no. I mean the pattern of the siren.
Yeah.
like it wasn't an ambulance. It wasn't a cop car. It was like a Ford Explorer with like a yellow light on top that didn't have like a good ass siren, and you could just, I recognized the tone. I was like, that's a security car siren, not a cop.
not gonna take it seriously.
Yeah, no, I still dipped though. I was nervous because I was like on the edge, and then there was a gate that was open, and I was like on the helipad, like where a helicopter. Oh yeah, there was a helipad up there, I guess, for like the high rollers that come in. and
You're
I
just
was-
rolling around like Grand Theft Auto, just hopping fences and stuff.
No, I didn't hop. No,
Gate was open.
It was open, literally, and that's always my excuse. I'm like, dude, the door was open. Like, well, you're not allowed up here. There's no trespassing sign. I'm like, yeah, but it was open, so like I didn't see it when I walked by. And like, just get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, all right, sorry.
Oops.
My bad. Just check this pic out.
Yo,
though.
yo.
Like, yo, look at this shit. I'm gonna sell this shit. Get a Nike commercial. Yeah, it's the same thing. You take the pictures of the shoes. Yeah, it's dope.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm super proud of like all the shit you've done so
Thank
far.
you. It's cool. It's a journey that I like never thought that I would have gotten this far with. It's really, really fun.
What do you think's next? Like
I really want concerts to come back, and I'm trying to go on the road with an artist and be on a world tour or a nationwide tour, like
What kind of artist?
hip hop. I love rap.
No hesitation there.
No, hip hop right away. I love the culture.
You guys listen
I
to a
love
lot of hip hop growing up.
Yeah,
That-
we
dude,
did.
that's
Yeah,
literally-
that was like that's what I said. Like when they talk about like racism and everything like that, like racism, like it existed when we were kids, but not like racism the way it exists today did not exist even like a year and a half ago.
Dude, did you
like
ever rewatch Malibu's Most Wanted?
Yeah.
If you watch that movie now, you're like, you can't say that on TV. Like
A lot of those old shows.
we grew up listening to rap music, like idolizing DMX, and like these dudes were riding quads down streets, and like we're like, dude, like we just wanted to do that.
They made it
and
look
the
so
fact
cool.
that like now, like this past year, like I had to go on social media and like watch people tear other people down for like all this shit that like we idolized as kids, that like, there's this racism that persists. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because like we were all about all that stuff, and everybody I knew was about that. We were in suburban America. Like I don't know what you're
crazy 'cause
talking
hip
about.
hop played a huge role
we all
on my style at a young age.
And we all grew up on that. We all grew up on uncensored like stuff. But yet here we are.
Yeah.
So like how
No, the meme lately, like Dr. Seuss books just got pulled, and I saw a meme, and it was like, how are we so sensitive when like we used to watch South Park, and that was like the
Yeah,
best show
yeah,
ever.
agreed.
Like,
Yeah.
it was
What
so
happened?
mean.
Dude,
It
I
was
saw-
the
Still
meanest
mean.
show ever.
I saw one that
Still
was like
mean, yeah.
it was like
Still
1995. Kids in 1995, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And then it was like adults in 2020, words are literal violence. It's like but
you
those
think
are
it was
same
like-
people, because like we were kids in the 90s,
I saw
and
that
that's,
same meme.
that's
and
what I'm
it was
saying.
like-
How did our generation produce this whole generation of this cancel culture?
it's
Like,
probably
we
just
fucked
it's
up.
probably just a few
No, it's
individuals.
not us, dude. It's the old. Remember, the people who make the rules are a lot older than us.
Dude, it's
They're
a few people with like the biggest microphone.
They got picked on, and now they're
No, that's what it is. It's
back
like
for it.
if you took the 90% of America, like I don't really. I mean, I interact with a fair amount of people, and I don't really know that many people that actually feel.
no. But you have the most amazing situations happen to you every single time you go out in public.
I do.
I
I have
don't
this.
understand.
I have.
Do you
good
notice
random
that?
interaction at
Does
like
is it
store
always
checkout
been that way?
counters.
No, I
Just
just like
one in the store today.
dude. Yeah, shit you not, dude. Where's my phone? I have a picture of it on my phone. So I got the wrong cords for Gilmar for like these whatever we needed, these cords. So I go to Best Buy, get the wrong cords the other day. So I got to go back. I return the cords today, and they're like, "All right, cool. Like, go get your cords." I'm going, blah blah blah. Walking around the store, I see the cell phone cases, and I got this thing with Best Buy where I gotta check and see if there's any new cell phone cases.
Right.
Don't know why.
It's your guilty pleasure.
And I never buy one, but I just like maybe I
walked
might.
up.
Maybe I might. So I walk through the cell phone case
Magpul.
thing.
Get a nice Magpul one.
Yeah.
Dude, you put me on Magpuls. Like
Magpul
a long
cases
time
are
ago. Magpul cell phone cases.
Those
are
were
fucking
they
dope.
they hold up.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look for they don't have Magpul, so obviously I'm dissatisfied. And I noticed this like poodle with like a very worn out therapy dog vest, like laying on the dog.
Live dog here. in the
Live black poodle, not African American. It was the color black.
store. Okay.
And there was like this dude leashed up to the dog, was talking to like this lady trying to talk, deliberating over cell phones, and this guy looked like a Russian or Polish, like worn hiking farmer type dude. Drives a real fancy Lexus. Saw him in the parking lot, but he looked like he like herded, like he should have a sheepdog, not a poodle. So I'm like, that therapy dog. Like I'm like, your vest's really worn out. You seem like you've seen some. Maybe your therapy dog.
The
I don't-
dog's vest was worn out?
Yeah, like
You've seen
super.
some shit, dog. You've
This
seen some
dog's
shit.
dirty. So I'm like walking around, look at the next aisle. I had since passed the dog, come back around to the dog.
Oh, no.
The dog lunges at me,
Oh.
fucking lunges at me, mouth open, and I've got like I'm on the end of the aisle, so I've got like the aisle back to me. So like I let this like bitch scream out like
my God.
like I was just like I don't remember what it sounded like, but it wasn't like a screech, but
You
it
were
was
frightened.
it was not tough. It was not tough, right? And my back was to the thing, so I was just like, oh my God, like a little whatever, dude. And like Beyonce selling this dude a phone. Like the guy turned to me and was like, "Oh well, sorry for my therapy dog out of control nature." Kind of looked towards his
On
face.
a leash?
Oh, on a leash,
Okay.
but like it was like, "Oh, sorry," and I wanted to be like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Why are you saying sorry? I'm being such a little bitch. Right now.
but
I'm
yeah, I
scared of the
didn't.
poodle.
I was just like, all right. But like the look on her face, was that I was such a pussy that I just ran. I didn't stop. Like, normally I'd be like, what in the fuck are you doing with this dog in Best Buy? Why should I feel unsafe around your goddamn what's therapeutic about this shit? I'm now scared.
Yeah, of a little dog.
But like her look on her face was like, it was, dude, like she was definitely like a mixture of like, what's that one tennis player, the black tennis player?
Serena Williams.
So she had like that, like the hair like Serena Williams has, but she was a little bit taller than me. Good looking black lady, looked me, and like our eyes locked eyes, and I was like,
She didn't like the noise you made.
I was like, I'm a complete bitch. I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna check out. And I like, and this is how bad it was. Like, I'm the type of person that'll like keep bringing it up. Like, I didn't bring it up. Like the whole, like all the cash register, everybody saw the shit. I checked out. I'm like, yeah, I'm exchanging these
Walked
things.
out with your tail between your
Dude,
legs.
I'm like, I'm exchanging these things. I should punch that dog in the fucking face. Did you see? I didn't say a single
Dude,
thing.
service dogs are everywhere. I just got like screamed at by some lady. I do this thing and I was like, I bark and it sounds like really legitimate. And,
Yeah,
like,
it does.
People think it's a dog.
Wait, do it. I want to hear it.
All right, just give me a second.
Fucking DMX.
Yeah, dude.
No, but I do it to fuck with people. And it's so, dude, I'm 28 years old, okay? My sisters call me out to this day because I'll still bark. Like, we got, like, my little nieces and shit, and I bark at them. And they're like, remember when, like, the little kids outside used to play basketball and Mike would bark and scare the shit out of them? And I was, like, 12. So this is, like, 16 years later, I'm still barking. So DMX, like we said, like, hip-hop taking a big act on us, like, I still bark.
DMX, yeah, dude.
Shout out DMX, yo.
So,
Mikey wouldn't be barking if it wasn't for DMX.
literally, that's where it came from, I think, now that I think about it. So, I'm in the mall. I don't know why. I'm so far away from this woman, and she's behind me. And I look back, like, for some reason, and she's got a dog, right? And I just keep walking, and I don't say anything. And I'm like, and then, like, it's, like, silent, and she's on the phone, and she's like, oh, my God, this fucking asshole just barked, and Lulu pooped everywhere. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because Mark brings his dogs into the restaurant, and I bark at them, and he gets pissed because it scares them. I'm like, what do you want me to do, dude? My bark's good. Yeah.
This dog poops.
Yeah. It poop or piss, whatever it was, it went to the bathroom in the mall. And she was really, really fucking upset. And whoever that was, I'm so sorry that I embarrassed you like that and made your dog look like a bad dog. And you had to clean up poop in the mall in front of everybody outside of fucking Spencer's.
Damn, not outside the Spencer.
Yeah.
What time of day was it?
It was like 11:56.
On a Saturday?
No, like meh. I think it was a Sunday actually. So it was like general population was out. Like
Oh shit!
They-
Dude,
like,
Oxy
there
Valley
was-
Mall.
oh yeah.
Oh
Damn, right before
dude.
church, too.
Dude, oh shit.
You go to do stuff on like a Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, like go to the mall, you're like, is this open? Like, why is nobody here? And then you're like, oh yeah, I work at 4 p.m. tonight and everybody else is at an office right now. This was
Holy shit! Dude.
pre-COVID though, when malls were lit. Now you have to wait outside of the Gap to go in. There's like, oh, sorry, 6 people only. Like, all right, well, I'm just going to go online. Well, I can't try these on.
I'm just going to go online.
Retail's dying, it feels like. It's sad. The mall doesn't have the same vibe anymore, even during Christmas this year.
Yeah, I agree. I was walking through Macy's and I was like, damn, this is fucking sad.
Nobody's here smelling cologne.
Yeah.
What's going on?
The fuck?
These bottles are full.
They were about to just give me one.
The
Let's fucking take it.
tester came up to me, and I'm looking. She's like, "Oh, everybody's loving this one." I'm like, "It's full. What do you mean?"
Can't lie to me.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I just, you're really handsome. I thought you'd like this." I'm like, "I'm not buying it."
Oh shit!
I don't know, dude. I can't wait for this lockdown to be over. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to the most is
Concerts.
no more restrictions. I want concerts, dude. I want big fucking nightclubs. I want 300-person weddings. I want big jobs to like come back into society and be normal and people feel comfortable to go out. Like it's just crazy right now, especially if you're planning a wedding. If you're planning a wedding or you have one coming up right now, I feel really sorry for you because the restrictions change. Like how about in December, like middle of the year, like after we're like, all right, we're already in on this pandemic for how many months now? Like 8 months. And you're making progress, and they're like, nope, sorry, you can't eat indoors anymore. Like, yo, what the fuck? When is this shit going to end? Just really don't know still.
Yeah, my brother's getting married in Guatemala because of that. So
He's just going there because he can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
So-
all right, no restrictions. Come on down.
yeah, so we're going out there.
Yeah. It's tough.
Whoa,
What?
Sounds nice, right?
we got some airline points.
Yeah, but where can you go
Flying
right now?
points.
Like, how do you travel out of the country? I thought we had like a ban right now.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll get out.
I don't know. I got one.
You know
We
what?
have one
I'll
guy-
get out, get back in.
I know, like, dude, could you imagine if I thought about that when I went to Cuba? I was like, dude, things are like really like crazy in our country, like right now with the president. I'm like, what if I like went here and they just like, well, fuck it, you can't come home now, and like we reversed that
happened to
bill.
people.
No, yeah. So here,
Yeah, like when they changed that rule, like whoever was there, you're like, oh, good luck getting back into the States.
similar but not similar story. When I was in Albania, like mind you, catastrophe. We leave the airport. We get in a car accident on the way to the airport.
Jeez.
Like literally, like 2 miles from the airport, car accident. Ariel's like low key freaking out. Blah blah blah.
Which
We
is freaky 'cause you're in
get
another
to the
country.
airport. Our flight doesn't exist, right? The airline that was supposed to take us from Albania back to like I
Here?
guess Spain or Rome, bankrupt.
And you had already purchased a ticket.
And
ahead
we're
of
like
time.
in Albania, right? So like they're like, oh, we'll figure that out for you, and we're like, okay, blah blah blah. So like,
when?
yeah,
we
like
gotta
they're
go.
like, all right, cool. So we have a connect. They're like, all right, well, we could send you to Moscow. You guys could chill there for like a day or so, and like then get connect to like here. And I'm like, all right, cool. And Ariel's like freaking out, and I literally turned to the girl and I was like, how much for the soonest flight to Italy, Rome,
Western
Spain, somewhere on this side of Europe? And she was like, oh, I got room in 3 hours. I was like, I'll take 2. She's like, oh, that flight. And I was like, put it on the card.
charge it. I don't care.
I'm out of this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Moscow.
Well, we're fucking out of here.
Yeah.
And literally we got on the plane and everything, and we got to Rome. We ended up hanging out in Rome, having a great time, but like we're eating dinner in Rome. Like
Then you end up at somebody's house
we're
for like
sit-
after dinner drinks.
no,
You're like,
it
"Oh,
was
welcome."
literally like Rome was lit for us. And
was awesome.
I said at one point I turned to her and I was like, what would somebody have done if they didn't have like, we're not like exorbitantly wealthy, but we have plenty of money that we can just be like, oh, dude, this really fucking sucks, but you know what? Let's
Eat
go
it
have
up.
dinner in Rome.
Yeah.
Like,
we're
so
stuck
like
in a dope place.
yeah, so it's like we're stuck in a dope place, but then also in reality, like I still probably could have been mad.
Yeah.
You know, somebody in that whole situation could have been mad, but I'm like, what's there to be mad about here? Like we're in, like, look at this pot. Like
You might not
this
have
is
been
a-
ready for it
this was a-
financially. What if you're in a nub, dude, and you're out there and you're like,
You're
fuck,
going to
like,
Russia.
How, yeah. How am I
you
getting
going-
home?
you're
you
going
know
to
what I'm
Moscow.
saying? So like, if we were just like, oh well, like the solution we have for you is like we're gonna send you to Moscow, and then we're gonna send you to London, and then we're gonna send you to this country, and then back to here, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm like, I'll work that out with our travel agency when I get home. Like we'll figure that out. Like, but
There was
No.
college kids in Barcelona couldn't come home when the travel ban started from COVID last year.
no, they were stuck in there.
Yeah.
Hey, Lauren, my wife had relatives
Until they
in
figured
like
out
St.
like the
Martin.
testing strategy to like send you home. It was like a few weeks that they were like, nah, you can't come into the US.
And that's like a situation where you're stuck like in Barcelona, but it's not lit.
yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like panic mode.
It's like
oh,
panic
shit.
mode.
You would definitely feel alone then, right?
Or
'Cause
just trapped and scared. Like you'd be like, fuck, like my family's not here.
Some
I
of
can't
Lauren's
go
parents
home.
Lauren's family got stuck in like St. Martin, and they were complaining about it,
Yeah.
and they're retired. It's like, wait a minute. So you're saying
You
get,
guys
like-
are getting ready to
you get,
die
like,
anyway.
You get, like,
Shut up.
You get like 2 more free weeks at the resort because they don't have people coming in, right? So you're just staying at the same resort you were just at. Like, what's the
Yeah,
problem? here?
Grandpa, hit the pool, buy some Bitcoin. Calm down.
Bitcoin.
Mm.
I'll buy Bitcoin when I can fill my car up with gas with it.
It might be too late.
It might be too late to buy the Bitcoin.
Well, maybe by then I won't have a choice. That's what I will be filling my car up with. Sorry, no cash. You got any Bitcoin? Like, yeah, I got my hard drive right here. Somebody told me that. They're like, yeah, like I have actually 1 Bitcoin. I'm like, but like, where is it? And he's like, well, it's actually on a hard drive. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, well, when you like own a Bitcoin, like you have to like store it somewhere if you don't use like a trading platform like, like Coinbase or something. I'm like, so what happens if you like lose that hard drive?
lose
He's
your
like-
Bitcoin.
He's like, I lose my Bitcoin. I'm like, but where can you go spend that? Like, what can you do with that? Like nothing.
Buy Teslas now.
You can actually borrow against it.
Oh, like collateral.
Yeah, there's
BlockFi.
Okay.
well, yeah, there's a BlockFi, there's
It's still so
there's
gray.
there's
to me.
yeah,
I
but there's
still
so
don't
I
understand
found over the last like 2 weeks, I think I have found 8 companies that say they do it, and I only know of 3 that I know people that have like.
Well, once I saw like Tesla and like Apple and like other brands, I like recognize like getting involved with Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, maybe it is like a something that's happening right now.
There's
'Cause
been a
before
slow.
you look at it, you're like, what is this? You
There's
still
been
don't
a
understand.
slow, quiet grab
Yeah.
this year by corporate America. Like everybody says, like the industry when they speak on Bitcoin, like a lot of the purchasing pre 2019 was a lot of individuals, and then 2019, 2020, you started seeing like industries and like companies starting to buy it,
Right.
which is like
So that Colin mentioned this on one of our podcasts. We had this guy that was big into Bitcoin, and he said that there was a seminar with 7,000 CEOs of like the top 7,000 companies at a Bitcoin conference. And I just saw that same stat now played on CNBC saying that most of these big companies have already grabbed Bitcoin.
You just don't know about it.
They didn't have to disclose it yet.
Right.
And then as soon as they
Well, they
disclose
don't
it,
have to, right?
they do if they're a publicly traded company. They
But
got
like, why do you have to make that
on
announcement?
their side you do.
Yeah.
Like but
Oh,
like
like we have to report this, and then somebody finds the
like if
and
I'm
makes the
well,
article.
no, it's not even it's just I'm IBM. I have here are my assets. I got $8 billion in cash, $1 billion in Bitcoin. You have to disclose when
Right.
when you like switch.
it's
it
on
over.
it's on your balance sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You just have to look at it as like this is dollars A and dollars B.
Right.
Everybody's so hung up on like the branding of these things. Like you have to look at them as like just seeds, like just beans.
Yeah.
Like you have to like
It's gonna turn into
demonetize is
something.
the word, but like it's like dematerialize like money. Like everybody looks at like money
Physical cash.
as like I can hold this. Like when I'm like, oh dude, you know, I have $1,000. Like you immediately think like, oh, what's $1,000 look like in my hand? Like almost everybody, like you don't think you do that, but like that's what your brain like.
I
This
feel
is
like-
this is how much $1 million is. People instantly think like $1 million, that's a house. They instantly like materialize $1 million. Like it's never like,
Like, oh, I could buy a
this
house
is $1
with that.
million units. So like when you look at like Bitcoin and everything like that, like everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin's no. It's like, okay, well, what's stock?
Right. No, that's what my argument is too. People were like,
It's still
"No,
units, it's
I'm gonna
measures."
Invest in the
Yeah.
stock market. I'm like, well, guess what? If you own stock in Apple, you can't use that certificate to buy anything until you sell it. And that's how I look at Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, basically like buying into this. It's currency. It's like
It's
a
an
product.
idea,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's you're buying into that company. This is what it's worth. Here's the market that never fucking stops, and you just probably check your phone all night and look at it. Because I don't even have Bitcoin, and like I'll look at like I'm just like looking at my apps on my phone late at night, and like it's cool watching the market, and I'm like it's like 2 a.m. What's making Bitcoin go up right now? Like I don't get it.
some billionaire just bought like
Yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah.
Right now, Bitcoin's idea is more powerful than the currency.
The
But it's
blockchain idea.
The idea of a decentralized, de-government
Yeah.
currency.
Like this is our money,
it's like it's
and
the
you
people's
own
money.
it. Yeah, it's
Right.
the people's money. Perfect way to say it. I feel like.
Non-regulated.
Yes.
The apex will be when it starts to then become like more of a valued asset than the U.S. dollar, not on dollar like ratio scale, but actual like in business and in the world with power.
But people think of value as like they instantly hear that as like how much house can I buy? Value is demand.
It's demand.
It's like how value is like how easy can I do something with you and transfer this from me to you. So if I can easily transfer US dollars, more valuable over seashells.
right, and it's also the world currency currently.
Yeah.
There will be a power struggle. I think within 10 years where the Bitcoin becomes more of a universal currency or tries to be than the US dollar. The question will be, what does our government do? Do they just shut it down? And if they shut it down, I think the revolution will get stronger, right? Because like that's just the nature of
Yeah,
humans.
but what do you mean? I own this money. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
well, that's
say
what I was
that.
going to say. There's too many powerful people in it, but at some point, the United States is going to have to make a choice, because they're going to have to deregulate it or let it go to where it's going to
Accept
go.
I kind of think it'll go like with everything's happening with China. Like we won't get into that right now because that's like a whole history rundown. But like China's influence on the world and like their growth as like a superpower, like the United States, like whereas I much felt like the United States might posture against Bitcoin and stuff like that, the United States might use like the blockchain currencies in order to like maintain itself as a superpower against China in the long run. Like we might give up the US dollar willingly because like say you owed, like I owed you a bunch of money for the house I got from you, but what we agreed I owed you is now like,
Not a thing.
it's not really a thing anymore. It's like, all right, cool, John, I'll still give you all that trash.
Right.
It's like, oh, cool, I got all this money over
you
here
think
now, but we agreed on the trash, John. You can't have the money.
So that's like inflation. The worse the U.S. dollar, the weaker it gets, the more inflation. That conversation happens. Like, well,
what if we just bait and switched all our money and just did the open currency thing? And then China was like, oh, fuck, we didn't see that happening.
Yeah, like the chart where it shows what $100 buys you from like 1950 all the way to like now. Like I remember like just hearing like people like my dad's age who are like born in the 50s.
Dude, I got a car brand new, $5,000.
I know.
It's
I'm
like, what?
$5,000? You got a Corvette? What the hell? I was like, oh, I'll buy one right now.
It's $105,000 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
remember when you were younger, you used to think in like $10 increments and then $100 increments.
Like
Yeah.
like your personal
Yeah,
like
yeah.
spending.
You're like, oh, like I got $10, I can buy X, I can buy these
so
things for
much
that.
with this.
And then you started thinking is like, all right, well, $10 is now 100. It's like but spend 10 then now, and then it goes to 1,000, and then like at 10,000, right now like
$1,000 would last you so long if you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now 1,000's like, okay, 1,000's like what 10 used to be.
And not if you're 10-year-old with a coke problem.
Yeah, you got some issues. What would I buy with $1,000?
What an
at 10
analogy.
years old?
Probably fucking Fortnite V-Bucks or something.
10. No, I don't. Yeah, like no. But when I was around that, like
That's what I'm saying.
downloadable
I'm saying
content.
now, yeah.
Yeah, I probably video games. I would have a sick console. But like with $1,000,
You would
back
have
when
rented
I
a
was
lot
10,
of movies back then.
Yeah, like when I was $10, like $1,000 probably could have got me like a nice TV, a sound system, a console, a bunch of games, extra controllers. Now $1,000 might get you just like a console. Like a console's like how much is the new PS5 right
Like
now?
500 or 600.
You just can't find
600?
them.
Yeah, well,
They
not
should have
only-
made them more
Are we doing
expensive.
that? Are we getting the PS5s?
I've been looking for my son for his birthday.
Are we doing that? Are we making this jump?
I'm alright. I don't really fucking care at this point in my
Do you
life.
play?
Not really. I feel like I don't like right now.
Oh,
I
you're
have-
saying so you guys can play on live?
Well, I have Saturday morning therapy. I got like a whole ritual. Like I wake
Call
up
of Duty.
the same time. Like I don't wake up with an alarm, so like my body doesn't give a fuck. It's Saturday, so I'm up. The gym doesn't open at 5. It opens at 6.
The neck?
Yeah.
Since
So I'm
when?
a fucking another hour off my fucking
Oh, because it's Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh.
So Ariel got me PS4 a while back.
I wish they would have priced the PS5s more expensive so you could fucking find them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, dude, PS2 I remember was $199.
Oh, dude, that's a thing.
Oh
What?
yeah, it
Just
used to be
be like-
199.
Yeah.
PS4.
No,
But-
PS2.
PS2.
yeah.
PS2
PS2
came out-
199. Be like, oh shit,
$199.
$200.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that.
I think the PS5 is like 500, but it only
For the
comes with
basic
one
model.
controller. You
Yeah.
gotta buy the other. Then you gotta buy the headset.
Yeah.
I think by the time you're done,
Then you got to buy the cord.
right? Then I think by the time
The
you're
new
done, you're
iPhone,
probably
they
in
Oh,
you gotta
for
like charge it.
700. Yeah.
You gotta get a cord to power it.
They always get you.
Yeah, so I started buying things for Ethan that weren't like I got him the headset that's gonna match the PS5. I can't find a PS5. Like I don't want to go on Facebook Marketplace. People are selling them. I don't know if that's legit. Like I got hustled. I
You're
bought
gonna
the
get
You're
a-
CD.
Montana man.
I bought the CD in New York, man. I'm skeptical.
You're going to get the box and open it. It's like a Dreamcast.
yeah. Fuck.
Yo,
I won't know until I plug it in. It's like this ain't playing shit.
one time
You like plug it in and it like coughs out some dust.
my cousin told me that him and his dad bought like a bunch of games one time from eBay, and they opened it up, just a bunch of rocks in it, in the fucking cases. I was like, yo, what the hell?
Dude, I had a guy try and rob me and my brother when we were selling, like we'd like bundled up all of our game systems back in the day. I don't know what we were buying, but we were up to something collectively.
Something with two wheels, probably. And
Ye-
knowing you guys.
yes,
Yes.
something that probably was gonna go faster than my mom wanted it.
Yeah.
So we rounded up. We were short on cash. We rounded up all the game systems that we were willing to let go of, and all the games and everything. We met this dude, Tony's place.
Yes.
Well, like
In Ivyland?
yeah, in Ivyland. Well, it wasn't like refurbished yet. It was just an abandoned like restaurant. We met this dude, and like to sell all the video games off, just like dude rolled up and was just like, yeah, we're like basically insinuated he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this off you. And me and Timmy were like, yeah, we're here, but like there's the 4 of us because like I was probably the only one that could drive. We got 2 kids in the back seat with skateboards. Like,
Yeah.
fat piece of
can't-
shit
you
buying
can't
video
have
games from
these.
kids. We will kill you in this parking lot. Rest assured that like the man boys and these 2 homies in the back seat, like we're not strong, but you are buying video games in the middle of the day of a summer. Like you're not a fighter, dude. Like we're like hand over the $100. Like let's go. That was like, And then I'm
Craig
pretty
tried to beat you up.
Yeah, we stopped selling things on Craigslist for a little while after
Yeah,
that. I
it
was like,
gets
dude,
sketchy.
we could have ended up
That
like
guy was scared as fuck.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Think about that. Like 4 teenagers, 2 with skateboards, like ready to clock
Go
you
ahead,
over.
try me, bro.
Dude, I literally was like,
you're
I
reckless
just
back
like
then.
bang on the trunk, be like, boys out. Bunch of like prepubescent teens get out, like just like
That's what I'm saying.
patchy
you get 5
beards.
or 6 teens like walking down the street.
It looks like
It's
a bunch.
I'm like, man, I'm gonna go
Looks
this
like a
way.
bunch of boys with like a bunch of like dogs with rabies, like with their beards growing in weird. It's like one kid's got a mustache. You're like,
hair coming out of the mole.
yeah, dude, like bath salts were a thing back around that time too.
Yeah,
so.
you never know who's gonna roll up on you.
Dude.
Got any Bed Bath and Beyond?
Yeah, I remember that was super weird, but
And they all came from Florida. Like every article was like Florida man high on bath salts attacks person in store. It's like, dude, you have to try that. You got to do. You Google Florida man and then type in your birthday, and like there's an article behind it. Like no matter what day it is, like there's a funny ass article.
yeah, dude, hit me, Florida man. Tomorrow is my dad's birthday, I think. No, 2 days. It's, the 6th. Let's see what happened. Peeing all over a room attacks
Naked
good.
Florida man starts house fire while baking cookies.
Florida man throws cheeseburger at pregnant woman.
There's so many.
Naked Florida man starts house fire while baking cookies.
Yeah. See, it's
This is
dangerous.
fucking
It's
wild.
dangerous down there.
Let me try my birthday.
Dude, Mikey Nappz. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, what's your
handle?
IG?
Yeah, what's your IG, and we'll close this out here.
Instagram.com/Mikey_Nappz NAPPZ.
Dude, how can people get in touch with you to like hire you through here?
Yeah, you could DM me. Send me a DM. Go to my website, msnapsmedia.com. I got my contact information there. Email, phone call. I'm always on my phone, so if I don't answer you, I'm ignoring you.
Facts.
That's our generation right now. Sorry. I don't feel like I'm ever ignoring people, but there are times where like I'll read a text message and it's important and I need to give it my 100% effort response, whether it be like it's mainly business stuff, like a quote, proposal,
And you just don't get back to it,
coordination. Yeah, and I'm like,
You don't have the mindset for it
if
right
I
now.
have the right person on the line and they're trying to call me, I'll be like, yo, I can't give you my undivided attention right now. I got to call you back. And some people
That's a
appreciate it.
great auto response on a text message when someone calls you. Like,
I've
I
literally
can't give
texted
you
out, yeah.
an undivided attention right now.
Yeah.
I'll call you back.
Yeah.
That's going in the
Yeah,
phone.
dude, how many times have you been on the phone with somebody where you're at a job and you answer a phone and you're like, I knew I shouldn't have fucking answered this. And you
Well,
can't
there's-
rush them off.
There's periods like sometimes like we're doing a better job as like a company. Like we have a lot of different like business and things going on. Like, but we're doing a better and better job like putting people in place between us and certain things that can kind of like help everybody communicate better. Because they're like, I very much believe that like you can only really manage so many people very effectively, and like when you're trying to build like a high performing team or get a lot done, like you can only give like 5 people your awesome attention, and then those 5 people can only give so many people their attention. So you have to like answer your phone and respond to things appropriately.
Yep.
Like Sonny, for instance, like he's a perfect example of somebody that gets it. Like Sonny will text me, and I will never respond to him ever again. And then he'll text me a couple days later about something completely else. And I'll be like, dude, awesome, going on. Like, sorry I didn't get back to you on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. And he'll know, be like, dude, I know what you're doing. Yeah. And then some days it's just like, I'm talking to him. I got Gilmore, I'm texting Gilmore. I got this person going on. And the same thing's happening to him too. So it's like, everybody's getting all these conversations. And like, I literally, there's like levels or tiers of people that I'll respond to. Like Ariel, like my wife even, like she knows, like if I'll read it and if it's important, I'll respond right away. Yeah. But if it's something that can
Sometimes
completely wait and I never respond to her back that again, like I don't know. It's not like I get home and she's like, you didn't text me back. Yeah. It's like, well,
I like when
you
people
know,
are like, I know you're busy. It's okay.
You know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you back.
It's going down.
So sometimes people get mad at me for not responding back, but it's not because I like some people, you know who you are. Like I'm not responding back to you just because I'm not.
You didn't respond to my comment on Instagram. I'm like,
you know who.
Call me, talk to me. What's going on? Let's get me on FaceTime.
Yeah,
that's my undivided attention. I'm a big FaceTimer. I think that's important. And like sometimes you want to like.
I think we're getting into it. I was slow to
It's
adapt.
cool. It's a little more like personal touch. I feel like you're giving someone like, "Hey, what's up? This is who I am. Trying to meet you."
We definitely didn't do the Zoom, but now that I've done a few Zooms, it's not that bad. And
Yeah.
FaceTime's even better because
FaceTime's so easy.
Yeah.
Some kid
Maybe we
like
should
tried to
FaceTime
do
more.
that. He was like, he said, I'll set you up on a Zoom. I was like, I don't have it. He's like, you just have to download it and create a profile. I'm like, yeah, bro, here's my number.
nah.
You could just FaceTime me real quick. Like, we're just doing an interview.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not making a Zoom.
Yeah,
So,
FaceTime.
Clubhouse.
Dude, I'm on there. Andrew Man, find me.
Clubhouse? Clubhouse?
Really?
Yeah,
I
they
heard it's
reserved my
cool.
name.
I heard it's cool. People are talking about it. It's like a basically podcast that anybody could chime into, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chaos.
Sounds like it'd be like messy. I feel like I've seen someone that they're like not inspirational or like educational. It's
It
just
gets
like
rather woke.
gossip
It
ones.
gets
Yeah.
rather woke.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a Wendy.
Oh,
It's like
boy,
a Wendy
we're
Williams
gonna have
free for
to
all.
get you out of some like Clubhouse issues. You go in there.
Yeah,
stir
like
some stuff
yeah,
up.
yeah. We'll have a podcast about the
You should
woke
just
Clubhouse.
play an episode in the Clubhouse. People are like,
See what
wow,
happens.
these guys are really, really going into it right now. Somebody, let's all chime in here. And at the end, be like, yeah, it was pre-recorded. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we always say it's live. Like we'll always be like live, and then after and people are like not live. Recorded 2 days ago.
Thanks
Dude.
for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you came. I know we tried for a little while to like set it up,
all
but,
good. But then
you're
we
getting
would-
after it.
Then we see each other at the gym at like 5:14 in the morning.
We locked eyes, and you were like, and I was like, podcast.
People at the NAC see us do that cool handshake that we do, and they're like, they're gangsters.
Yeah, dude, they definitely think we're in the
They're-
game.
And then
They're
you
a
let
part-
and then you let out a bark.
They're a
Yeah,
part-
What's up?
No, I'm quiet there in the morning. I won't bark there.
Yeah, so
It's a bad luck.
dude, Mikey Nappz, No Prisoners Podcast. Thanks for coming on. Hit us with one more bark.